It's written by
Stan List Entrin.
Why am I blanking though?
David Serta.
David Serta.
I wanted to call him Charles Barkley.
Not Becca pulling a me.
Manic
Pixie.
Jump Scare. Hosted by Quinn Murphy
And Becca Hobart.
Hi, we're Quinn and we're Becca, and
Welcome to Pixie Jump Scare, a podcast where Becca and I talk openly about our shared delusions,
passions and love for each
for
other.
Can you hear that?
So yeah, but barely. But I think it'll work.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see in post.
It was serving ASMR. So Quinn, today is kind of a marvelous. Ew! What the hell? Even is that?
Oh my god! What is that on studio?
What
oh
is
my god!
that?
There's someone in the
What
studio
is
with us.
that?
Oh my god!
Who
oh my
is
god.
that? What?
Oh my god! Oh
It's
my
beautiful.
gosh!
I love it, Quinn.
Wait,
Thank
it's not so
you.
weird anymore.
I'll
Hi.
take 4.
It's actually our friend Nan.
Oh, yay!
Hey, guys, it's
Hi,
Nan.
Nan.
Oh my god, Nan! How'd you know where our
Welcome.
studio is?
That's a little
I just
scary.
been camping outside.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what's been ticking on our door.
Okay. So Becca and I
Oh,
need
wow.
security now. That's great. But anyway,
Cool.
So we're so happy to.
Yeah.
Nan, do you want to do the podcast with us today? Maybe.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're just recording the
Okay.
podcast.
That's so random. I had no clue that this is happening right now.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's cool. That's good. Yeah. All right. Yeah, she can stay. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
No, yeah, that's good. Okay. So Nan, well, who the hell are you?
Hi, guys. My name is Nan. I'm currently a senior here at the University of Pittsburgh, pursuing a major in marketing, a minor in theater arts, and I'm doing concentrations in film studies and music. And today I'm joined
Wow.
by my 2 greatest friends in the entire universe,
She
With the
committed.
podcast.
Nice. Yeah.
Ben Patrick Murphy and Becca Joan Hobart.
Not
Well,
my
thank you
middle
so
name.
much. I just realized, Quinn, you have the same last name as Ryan Murphy.
I do.
I never connected that before, that you could possibly be related to him.
He's my uncle, actually.
Stop. I'm sick of
Yeah.
the lies.
Sick of the loys.
Sick.
But actually, you guys,
But-
this isn't Nan's first time on the program.
It's true.
Nan
She
was
has been a
if you
guest
remember-
before.
all the way back to when we played that little trivia game, our 10th episode special.
Yeah.
Nan famously flopped harder
Lost
than anyone has
so
ever
hard.
flopped, maybe.
Yeah. She lost badly.
At the game. But we still invited her onto the podcast.
Because we're charitable. Very charitable people.
Oh my god. I just remembered a special responsibility Nan gets as a guest of the podcast, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah. Okay. But guys, this is the part of the podcast where we talk to each other, guys.
Mhm.
And I want to know.
That's those the other parts.
This was where we just stare. But so I would love to know, Nan, what even is going on in your life right now.
So, one thing about me is
Yeah.
I have had 0 free time the past couple of months because just like the same time last year, I'm involved with another play.
Mm-hmm.
And why would you do that?
I don't know. It just kind of happened. I didn't even mean to audition. I just was there one day, and then next day I got the part, and it was just kind of what the F. But today
Wow.
is one of my 2 off days, today and tomorrow, and I am taking those days to just sit and sit.
Yeah.
Isn't that the
And
best?
podcast now, yeah.
My podcast.
Yeah. And we thank you. We thank you. Is this show okay? Do you want to talk? You're in a show called what?
Dance Nation by Claire Barron.
And so I know you to be a social dancer, right? I don't even know ever if you've ever had formal dance training. So is the sort of dancing you're doing in the show coming from your soul? Do you want to talk a little bit about
Yeah.
where's this coming from you?
Famously, a Tomei cousin did choreograph the dances for the show. There's like a mix. There's like 2 legit dance numbers, and then there's one and there's some like other movement stuff. But this is like audition like dancing, like dance call musical, like real dancing. And there's some
Gotcha.
scenes where it's just like little like random things, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it's like legit dancing. So everyone in the show can dance to some extent, and you have to. Yeah, I was trained. I'm a trained hip hop dancer. I was
Slay.
trained for 2 years. Thank you for laughing, Quinn. I
held it
wasn't.
back. I held it back.
Not only was I a basketball captain, but also I was the lead dancer of my hip hop team in India. I believe in 5th grade, maybe 4th.
Okay.
But then when I moved back here, it just kind of stopped, and that's my biggest regret in life: not doing dance at an early age.
Really? So I'm sorry, you were trained by you when you were the lead?
No, I
Okay.
I like did legit hip hop dance lessons for like I think a year, not even. I don't even remember. And then yeah, that's it. But I did like
Okay.
have dance class, and it was
Oh,
awesome.
okay. Cool. Rock on. Wow.
When you were taking dance, did you have like a tote bag or something that said like I have dance class?
I wish. No, the guy would just come to our like apartment complex, and we would be in one of the little like areas, and or
He
one
would
of the
come to your house?
well, okay, so India is weird because there's
Okay.
like a lot of apartment complexes. Like
Whoa, you can't say
Whoa,
that.
guys.
guys, I didn't mean weird,
MPJCU
okay?
does not stand by that.
MPJ does not endorse the views of all of our guests. We just give them platforms to express those views.
And by weird, I mean different. But
Okay.
everyone, like, there's a lot more apartment
Whoa.
complexes, and like
By
I
weird,
lived
I
in
mean
one,
bad.
and there's like, I think there was like, I don't even remember how many like apartment buildings there were, but we had like a clubhouse and like all these like parks and stuff. It's like a little like town, not a town, but it was like a little mini like place, and there's a bunch of like rooms that you can just like rent out and stuff. So that's where we had our little dance classes in one of these little rooms.
Giving.
And yeah, the dude would just come and teach a bunch of the kids that lived in the apartment complex, and a lot of my friends and I did it together.
Love
That's so
that.
fun,
That
actually.
sounds really fun, actually.
It's a little awesome.
Wow. Also, Nan, I literally have to mention the fact that currently right now, I have to assume that you're in your room, right?
Yes.
Which is famously my old neighbor's room.
Yep.
The apartment in Pittsburgh I lived in for 3 years is the apartment right next to you.
I'm looking into your apartment right now, actually, the way I'm sitting.
Oh, so you're in the room next to Macy's room.
Yes.
That's crazy to think about.
Macy's room and we share a wall.
Wow.
You lived there for
Oh my
3 years,
gosh.
Becca?
Yeah, from 2019 to 2021.
That's
22,
crazy.
sorry. Yeah.
Good for
I
you.
loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so nice.
They are good apartments.
I love those little lofts. Except, Nan, are you having trouble with the mail and deliveries?
It only happened one time because I got a bunch of stuff sent to me from NBC, and they put it on Dawson, and this like guy came to our house and was like, hey, like I don't want to bring you the packages because I don't want like security cameras making it seem like I'm stealing it, but just to let you know, your stuff has been delivered here if you want to come and get the stuff. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much, kind sir.
That was really nice. No one ever did that for me, and I would have to knock on doors, and it was my medical supplies, and I would have to like call the police.
Not the insulin.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, it sucked. Wow, but I love that. So it seems like your life is going good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool.
And what is life if not going bad and good at the same time, really?
Literally. It's all about balance, is what we've learned over the course of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do have a fun fact for you.
What?
Today, I downloaded the Starbucks app for the first time, and I got...
That's crazy that wasn't on your phone.
Well, I mean...
She doesn't like Starbucks. She doesn't like
Starbucks.
coffee.
And Miss Becky Toth sent me a $5 gift card a while ago, and I just put it on the app, and I got a little juice today.
Juice. Yeah, because we have our holiday. Sorry. That was
Oh.
that's just yeah. They have their holiday flavors out now. So yeah.
Oh my God, that was like a
Um,
big day last year for me and my friends.
yeah.
Because like we would meet at Starbucks before going to work at 6 a.m. And it was like the day they got like their holiday flavors. We were like, oh my God, what flavor are we all gonna try?
And they were all gross. Surprise.
Mine was gross. I remember tasting someone else's and I was like, that's not that gross.
No, they're all gross to me. Okay. Anyway.
Oh my God. But
So,
yeah.
so Quinn, what's up with you, I guess? We'll go around the room.
I'm so glad you asked because I've actually made my return to somewhere where, if you've been listening to the podcast, I went to against my will just like 2 short months ago. I'm in the country of France.
Oh,
It's so
okay.
true, actually. Oui,
Oui.
oui. Je m'appelle Queen.
That was
Queen.
awesome.
Yeah, that rocked. You blend right in, I'm sure.
Yeah. For whatever reason, when someone speaks French to me, it's like not like it's not like any other language I've ever like like for whatever I've encountered a lot of people who don't speak English like at first to me over this trip, but like for whatever reason, when people speak French to me, I'm like I like clam up. I'm like
Oh boy.
I like feel really bad about not being able to speak the language back to them for some reason. But anyway.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'm in France. I am in a little town called Annecy at the base of the French Alps.
And Nussy.
And Nussy. A Nussy. But yeah,
Crazy.
it's actually interesting because I came here because I'm going to Paris tomorrow. And not Becca's car. It's actually the city
Ugh,
they named after Becca's
dang
car.
it.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Still need to
so
sue them for that.
yeah. So Milan to Paris was like I knew I like because I was planning on going to Paris, but if you guys remember, my trip got a little altered by the fact that I got here really late and then I had to like pick up my suitcase and spend a couple extra days in Greece. Poor me.
Yeah.
At the beginning of my
Typical.
trip. But with that time, I was going to actually go to Paris before I went to Spain.
Mm.
And so I actually was not able to do that. But I remember I was in like Amsterdam and I was just watching the people go by and like seeing how well everybody was dressed. And I was like, I need to be doing this, but in Paris. And so I was like, what the hell? So I just moved the Paris trip to the end of my little European excursion.
Perfect.
And so yeah, I'm going to Paris tomorrow, but it was like a long train ride and like I didn't really feel like doing that. And then I kind of wanted to visit Annecy because my high school's patron saint, St. Francis de Sales.
Okay.
He was actually the Bishop of Geneva in Switzerland. And I don't know if Annecy was under that jurisdiction, but I believe at one point he was in exile in Annecy.
You said too many big words and then you had to say jurisdiction? Girl, what the hell? Take it down.
Anyway,
Take it down
it's like
a level.
it's like a whole church thing. It was and it was when the Catholics and the Protestants were beefing heavy, like one of the first times.
Okay, you
And
taught me about that.
I think he got banished from Switzerland because the Proddies kind of took over there. And so he had to come
Okay.
live in Annecy, and Annecy is kind of where he found like his whole religious order.
Okay.
But like Annecy is kind of the main place he's like associated with, and so I don't know. It was just I was over here, and it was like it's like kind of halfway between like Milan and Switzerland, and so I was like, why not just go there for like a day or two? And so I did that, and I actually went to his church today, and he's buried in there. So I like
Do you feel
saw his
haunted
little
now?
I saw his little headstone. I mean, yeah. No, you know what would have been really haunted? Apparently, so I think it's being a Catholic saint is kind of crazy because a lot of them actually have their remains just like stored places.
As opposed to
Like people who are usually just in like a cemetery and stuff, but like theirs are in like churches and stuff, and
Oh.
everybody can come and like see.
Oh,
And it's like a big thing in
interesting.
Europe because a lot of them are from here famously.
Right,
Um,
right.
but so like their tombs are there, but I believe his heart is somewhere else.
Oh
Because I
my
was reading about it today, and
goodness.
I think at one point the like somebody like the Protestants like tried to steal his heart, but like the Catholics were trying to like keep it safe.
That's kind of
Um,
cute.
and so his heart is somewhere else, but like the rest of his remains are buried somewhere under that church. And so I saw his little headstone today, as well as Saint Jane de Chantal, who was his like bestie, um, while he was alive. And we would always say their two names when we would pray. And we'd say Saint Francis de Sales, pray for us. Saint Jane de Chantal, pray for us. Then there was also Blessed Father Louis Brisson, but he's like a whole other thing.
Oh, I don't know any of those. Sorry. I don't know
I
who this man
know.
is.
It's so specific. No, it's interesting because I didn't go to like a Jesuit, like I went to an oblate school, and so oblates like are the religious order who like follow St. Francis de Sales. Um, so they're like a smaller religious order as compared to like Jesuits or something. And Nan are just like guys staring at me like I'm speaking a different language to them.
I don't know any of these.
I don't know
So
who
sorry.
God is.
But yeah, so
I don't
anyway,
know
they're
who
one of
that
the
girl
smaller
is.
religious orders. So like it's kind of like being like a niche fan of something. Not that I'm necessarily like, no, I would say St. Francis is pretty cool. Like aside from like the whole organized religion thing. Guys, we talked about this on the podcast before, but
Oh boy.
but yeah, it's kind of like he's kind of like a niche micro celebrity. So like it's kind of fun that he's like I don't know.
Micro celebrity of the BC. Or is he after
No,
Christ? Uh,
after. Well, he's a
uh,
saint in the Catholic Church, so not a lot of them were actually BC because
you can make fun of me all you want. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
um
know.
but yeah, he was alive in like the 15 or 1600s,
Oh, okay.
the 16th, 17th century. So right
He
there in that
would
rough.
so be a vampire if like we were writing a story about it.
You're like, he's giving me vampire vibes.
He's giving me vampire vibes. Like his heart is in a somewhere and his body's in the church.
You guys want to know a fun fact about vampires?
Yeah.
You're
When
full of
they're
fun
buried,
facts today, Nan.
yeah, when they're buried, they would like put iron like things through their bones to prohibit them from like rising and getting up because they can't like touch iron. So they would like put like things or like
Take them
lay
down.
like iron guys on their
Or
collarbones so they couldn't get up. Fun fact
y'all
from
are gonna have
Crazy.
to do that to me.
Oh,
Because I'm gonna be
Oh.
like,
Let me rise up. Rise
no,
up.
could you imagine
Rise
something
up.
more?
Eliza. Oh.
I'm so
scared
scared of what
me.
just happened.
I know.
I
Guys, I got scared too.
There's nothing. I know we're past spooky season at this point, but there's nothing more cunty than like reaching up out of the ground and going like this.
The Living Dead, like yeah,
Yes.
it's so slay.
Yeah, but I think if I were to do that, I would be like this. Thanks so much for your time, guys.
And for that, you have to go on the YouTube and see what Nan just did.
Yeah.
But Becca,
Oh,
what the hell is going on with you going back around the room?
okay, thank you. Yeah. So everything I say is about work because it's truly all I do. Yeah, but yesterday we did have our work holiday meeting, yippee doo dah, and I was presented my favorite thing, an award. Basically, it was for being slay, but I got an
Yes.
award. Yeah. And then my manager gave like a whole speech about how influential I've been in the workplace. And then she cried and I did cry as well. And I was like, what even the hell? This is so moving.
Oh
It
my
was a
God,
full
Becca, and you've been
cancer
working there for
moment.
like what, 4 months?
Yeah. No, I
Wow.
change places. I go and I change.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that you can have an impact like that in such a short amount of time is not what other people can do.
It's true. I'm grateful to myself.
The fact that you are an award-winning Ulta employee.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true.
Get that
No,
on the
yeah.
damn IMDb this instant, right
No,
now.
literally. I'm like, how do I add this to my resume?
To like your civilian resume, you can certainly add that.
Civilian resume. Good person. Oh, speaking of resumes, also, I've been secretly doing this online Parsons program, and I finished my courses. So now I have a certificate from Parsons in fashion business.
Yes. Oh my God.
Isn't that so random? I just
Becca,
do things.
slayful, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
No, you're like a little too cool to go to Parsons, honestly.
If I went there in real life, like, yeah, it just wouldn't make sense. Because what if I met like a girl named Mary Beth and I would have to like bully her if she's so too good?
No, you give like Parsons dropout vibes.
Thank you. Just like
Macy
from
Rodman.
InfoWars. Yeah.
That's why I was inspired.
I picked up on that.
Saying that. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, thank you. Minus the like heavy drug use afterwards. I probably would just,
and you have time to explore that.
Well, thank you.
So I wouldn't count yourself out quite yet. Because
Okay.
you're winning awards after 4 months at Ulta. Imagine after 4 months of doing hard drugs, what kind of awards you could be winning.
Oh, Oscars, baby.
Guys, #1 most wanted. That's a highly sought after award, actually.
And I do believe in myself. #1 to change the country in the way that security works in buildings. The way airports run. Anyway.
There's going to be TSA in the train stations after Becca is done.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Ooh, that was fun. Shouts out. Okay. Well, anyone
Did your
else
award have like a title?
It just says the Holiday Award.
Yes.
Forgiving Wow Experience. It is on my floor right now. And then my manager like wrote a note to me on it.
Oh my God. Do you guys like present at next year's ceremony if you're still working there?
Hopefully I won't be, dear God. But you could say that. Yeah, you could say that.
My God.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
My God, look at us.
That's awesome. Sometimes I forget that you guys are like literally so close in age to me. Like I feel like I'm so much younger.
Well, aren't you?
Well, how old are you?
No.
Yes.
37?
No, actually I'm 45. Yeah.
And I'm 426 actually.
You want to talk about vampires?
No, we're literally the same age.
Yeah, I'm literally 21. I just turned 21 a couple months ago.
Yeah. But we were in like the same grade until I decided I was like, okay, what if I
finished? I'm only a year older than you, Nan, and I'm 6 months older than you, Quinn.
Wait, Nan, when's your birthday? Okay. It's in like June, right?
June 23rd.
June 23rd, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm only like 6 months older than you.
June 23rd, aka my phone password.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's great. So if you guys ever need to get in Nan's phone for any reason,
it's Becca's birthday.
Very special day, June 23rd.
You guys have the same birthday? I feel like we've been over this.
No. Nan's birthday is July 17th, 12th, 7th, 12th, 11th, 10th. Yeah, July 4th. Happy. Okay. 17th?
Nope.
What the hell?
Unlucky.
13th.
13th.
Yep. Friday.
Oh, 13th. You don't seem like an odd numbered girl to me. You seem like
I know, right?
Number.
But when you think of July 13th, Friday the 13th, that makes more sense.
Giving Taylor Swift vibes.
Yeah, 13. You're right. The two best songwriters in the world.
Yep.
Nan and Taylor.
Yep. That's what I always say.
Yep. Perfect. All right, guys. Do we feel caught up? Are we good to move on?
I feel very
I caught a lot of bulls. That's how caught up I feel.
Okay.
Also, wait, just because I mentioned both of your middle names, do you guys remember what my middle name is?
You don't have one.
No, the one that I appointed myself.
Oh.
Jeff.
I feel like it's changed.
Jim.
It's not Beverly. It's not Beverly.
It's not Beverly.
Which Beverly is one of the better middle names you could have, actually.
Renee Beverly Wolf will go down in history as one of the best names I've ever heard in my life.
Renee Beverly Wool. Wait.
Is it Simone?
Oh, Samantha.
Yes, Samantha.
Nandita Samantha Mahesh.
Oh yeah, I do recall actually.
Okay, just wanted to get that out there.
Wait, you know my middle name?
Joan.
Jorn.
And Quinn's is
Padraig.
Padrig.
Padraig.
Y'all
Padrig.
struggling with that one.
Quinn P.
Almost
Quinn P,
Padriga.
Becca J, Nandita, Nan,
Nan.
Nan, full stop.
Yeah, you're right.
But
Okay,
guys,
guys.
we're now going to take a little break. And then we'll be back to tell you why Nan is actually here this week.
You're right.
Guys, I'm scared.
Oh my God, Carson.
Oh boy.
Oh, and it's starting already. But we're back. And so, guys, something about me and Becca is we're going to do a bit. And so
Always true.
I'm going to be honest, Nan was actually always supposed to be here. She didn't just wander into our podcast studio. We pranked you guys. But we wanted to have Nan here today because just about a year ago, we were doing a little show, the three of us, called The Drag Seed. That's really the show that solidified Nandita and I's friendship. I don't know about Becca and Nan, and Becca and I already had it pretty established. It definitely brought Becca and I a lot closer, but yeah, but it was I believe it was a formative project for all of us, and there was a lot going on during the whole process, and so we all just wanted to come together and have a little anniversary moment on the podcast. And so Becca, I guess I'll start with you as the director of the whole show. How do we even get here?
Yeah, good question. I ask myself all the time, how the hell did that even come about? So I guess we'll go back to actually let's start. So what was that? My junior year, I directed a little one-act show called Carrie and Francine.
So cute.
It was cute. It was cute. We did it online. It was cute, whatever. And then I knew I wanted to submit to direct a full-size show. Full-size.
King size. No, this show was king size.
A California king, babe. California king. I knew I wanted to do a full-length play my senior year. So I did submit for the show Die Mommy Die, which is still an incredible show that I really want to direct. But what had happened was the application committee was like, so actually this show is too difficultly dated. We would not be able to like costume and set design it like with our resources. Because one thing about Pitt's theater department, they are motherfucking struggling all the time. God bless them.
As arts programs are everywhere, guys.
Yeah, it's true. I have a lot of love, but you know, we do what we can. So
what period was it set in that it was like so specific?
The 60s, the 1960s. I don't know. The
60s.
Whatever. The 1260s. The vampire ages, babe. No, but yeah, so I was like, okay. And they were like, but we want you to direct, so you'll just have to resubmit for a different show. And I was like, well, thank you so much. So I'll choose one. Then I submitted for Eurydice, actually, but I was going to do it in drag and with like the Stones be in drag, and then the like Eurydice and what's his face both cast as like women, so like women loving women couple there, but they were like too boring actually. So like, okay,
lesbians are so boring.
They're like, we're sick of it at this point. We're so sick of it. But
there's already a lesbian play on the docket, and they were like, that's too much.
Yeah, we can't have 4 lesbians, guys. So then they sent me a list of plays that involved like drag and like elements of the things that I wanted in the first place. So let me just make this so clear. The department, people who study theater, sent me a list of plays that they thought I should do. Remember that. Remember that for later. That I was told that these would be good plays to do.
Mhm.
So I chose the drag seed because I was like, oh, perfect. It's funny enough. It's funny enough. I feel like I can work with
Enough.
this, and I feel like it would be like really fun. Because my main thing, I just wanted to have like fun. Like we were coming back after a year of doing Zoom theater, which honestly sucked and was really hard. And I was like, I just want to do something as fun as possible. Things did go awry at some point, but ultimately I did have fun.
Yeah, I think it was fun.
Okay, good. But so yeah, it's written by
Stan List Entrin.
Why am I blanking though? David
Serta.
I wanted to call him Charles Barkley.
Not Becca pulling a me.
Classic. But yeah. He's a Chicago theater artist. He performs a lot. He's really funny. You should definitely follow him on Instagram. Sir Delicious. He does not follow us.
We follow back? No.
No. He constantly is posting like those reface videos of it's very slay. He ossifies himself. Anyway. But it's this Drag Seed was a spoof of the horror movie / play The Bad Seed. And instead of the little child being a regular little child killer, it is a little child drag queen killer.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's Hairspray, and that the fact that mom is in drag, but it's like not talked about. Yeah, explicitly. So that's fun. It's just like a whole gay horrific mess, and horrific as in like spooky scary. I do wish we would have premiered 1 week earlier.
Oh, to be in Halloween?
Yeah, but it's okay. So yeah, basically I got the thing over the summer that it was like, okay, so we're gonna do Drag Seed. My understanding was like the department was like, yeah, like we all read this and we think it's okay. Remember that for later. But yeah, and then I was like really excited. I started thinking about casting. I obviously had my friend Quinn in mind, and I had not yet met Nan. No, it's true.
I think shortly after you found out that you were going to do Drag Seed, we were filming for Thanks to Her.
It's true.
Oh my God.
You told me about it.
Which, now that you bring up Thanks to Her, I actually did think that I did not get invited to the premiere, only to know that I haven't logged into my student email account for probably 5 months now, and it was sent there. So thank you. But yeah, so yeah, I did find out while we were filming, and then once I knew, Nan, that you had done theater and how funny you were, I had you in mind as well then, you know, as soon as we talked about it. But yeah, I actually had Quinn in mind for a separate role. Little peekaboo.
we did Becca. I remember Becca and I first talked about it at Becca's iconic birthday party that was based off the Camp Met Gala.
Yes.
In 2021.
Yeah.
In like June of 2021. And so yeah, that's kind of the first time I had heard about it, and I was just gonna audition anyway because that's just what I did in college.
Of course.
But as somebody who has donned the geesh for theatrical roles before and non-theatrical roles, I was like excited to maybe pick that back up. But Nern, I do, Doja Cat, need to know how you came to the decision to audition for the show. Because actually, Nan and I had worked together on a separate show.
Oh, yes.
which we're not going to talk about. But
Okay.
uh, Nan and I had worked together a little bit before, and so we knew each other like a little bit, but not like,
Not fully.
I
Like
might
I
not have
knew
had you as a podcast guest if I had a podcast at this point, that time.
So basically, I never really got parts in high school, and thinking
Mhm.
about like college theater, I was like, absolutely no way would I ever get like a part in college theater because like it seems so like out of reach for me.
Mhm.
And then after freshman year, spring, I did intro performance, and Becky was like, "Hey, like we need people to do this. Will you audition?" So when I was like, "Oh, she asked me to audition for a college show," I was like, "That means something." So I was like, immediately a little bit of an ego boost. So I auditioned for it. Whatever was in that show, it was whatever. And then um, summer before junior year happened. I met Becca. She told me about the
Mhm.
season, and I was like, I do miss the theater, and I do miss performing, and I do enjoy it a little bit, if I do say so myself. And we talked about it, and she told me about the two plays. And immediately when she said the two plays, I was like, okay, absolutely no way would Drag Seat be the one that I would do. I was like, okay, I'll do the other one. And then,
Yes.
like, I literally was like, no way. I convinced myself that there was no way that I
I,
would be any of the roles in Drag Seat just because, like, in the
I
past,
do
I've never been,
remember.
yeah, I've never
Yeah.
been like a raunchy type anything. And then auditions happened, and September 2nd, 2021, they changed my life forever.
Oh my God. Was that callbacks?
Those callbacks.
Oh
Wow.
my
Yeah,
God.
I do
So
remember though.
yeah, let's get into this because callbacks was like
Yeah.
the first time where I was like, okay, this is going to be a little iconic,
Mm-hmm.
which I had to jump through hoops to attend that callback.
Really? Oh, for your
Yes,
Shakespeare. Oh yeah, you
because
were working at
yeah,
the
I
Oh,
time.
was I was doing my first ever job that I got paid for in theater.
Mm-hmm.
I was assistant stage managing slash assistant directing, but much more assistant stage managing. Um,
Slay.
uh, Pittsburgh Shakespeare in the Park's production of Hamlet. And it was like during our tech, it was either during our tech or it was like during a pickup rehearsal. But like I couldn't like obviously it's like a big deal like miss tech, but I was like, girl, I'm moving on. We have like 4 more weeks of the show to do, but I'm like, I need to audition for this show. I need to be at the callback. And so I was making moves. But part of the reason it was so hard was because so our set was like a bunch of boxes, and I carried around so many of the boxes in my car. um, like they
Oh,
just lived in my car the whole rehearsal process and the whole like production, like the run of the show.
yeah.
And so I had to like coordinate it, but I got it. So, and it was nice because everybody else like was like actors or like actor adjacent. So they all understood that like I had to take a minute to go and audition.
Of course.
Um, and so yeah, so I got special permission to like leave my work and then go and do the callback. Um, and then we did the callback.
Mm.
So, Becca, what was that like on your end?
Oh my gosh. I was really nervous, to be honest. It was
Mm-hmm.
like gonna be my first time hosting callbacks in person, like all on me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like I directed my own show the year before and like done a lot of assistant directing and stuff. But I was like, oh my God, I need to be like good enough for these people and I need to make sure they
Mm-hmm.
have fun. I was like, guys, are you having fun? You're having fun.
And we're all gonna have
Um,
fun.
fun. Um, and yeah, I also had so many people there. Like
Yeah, I do
there
remember
was a
that as
lot of people
well.
there. Yeah. Which was crazy. Oh my God. But also there was a lot of roles in Drag Sea, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
And I did come in. They always say don't come in with like a preconceived cast list. And I sure did come in with that. And I learned a lot about what not to do in those
Mm-hmm.
instances and how not to run a callback. Um, but we started off, what was the first thing we did? I think we
We had
did
to do
our
that.
little
oh, the like
dance
little acting
exercise,
Yeah, we did do
combo.
the improv exercise.
the improv
We did like a
one.
dance. I think we did like a lip sync thing.
Well, we also did
Yeah,
like a
we
Becca
did.
did everyone line up at the front of the stage and
Oh
act like
yeah.
you're a drag queens. Also, Becca, you don't realize you like single-handedly like that day was so important to me, and you don't even know it.
Aw. Yay. Well, I know that y'all were all mingling in the whole way, and a
Mhm.
few friendships did burst out of that. So I am glad. I
Yeah.
do feel responsible for a lot of friendships actually in that way.
So I believe there was some component of we had to like dance around the stage or like lip sync in some capacity.
Yes, that was true. We did do a dance warm up to Ariana Grande, of
Oh
course.
yeah. And wasn't it the thing where like if you looked at somebody you had to like do something?
Oh yeah, you had to match their pose. Like you had to
Oh
strike a pose
yeah.
with
Yes.
them. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that was kind of
Mhm.
slay. Good
And then we
idea.
did like a and then we did a thing where like you were leading us through like this improv exercise where we had to react to different things.
Yes. Yeah. Those are nice. Those are
Yeah,
nice
I think they're
warm-ups, I
fun
guess. I
little
I would use that
icebreakers
again.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And you were right about people like getting to talk to each other in the hallway. I just didn't get to experience that because I was basically in the callback room the
Yeah.
entire
So
night.
so that is one thing. Also, 2 hours is not enough for a callback.
Especially the
Well,
amount of
also
people you
like
had there.
I was
Yeah.
at the last show callback right before, so I was there from like 6 to like whatever 10 something doing
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
fun.
crazy though.
I
But
didn't get called back for the other show.
I stole you. No, literally in the audition because there was Ricardo was also casting and then Kelly was casting for the little read through.
Mm.
Oh.
And they chatted me in the Zoom chat and were like, "Are you thinking of Quinn for your show?" And I was like, "So yeah." So pretty much need Quinn a little bit. So don't you dare.
He's
Um
No, but that was another thing about my job is I couldn't go to actual auditions. I had to submit like a
a tape.
self-tape.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Um but so yeah, and then we did sides and I had Quinn on stage the whole time to see who so that, just seeing who worked well with Quinn. And um our other little star was one Miss Parker Stevens,
Oh my God.
who in my eyes, came out of nowhere and absolutely like kind of killed this role of little murderous child.
Oh yeah.
What a nefarious little boy in the best way possible. Like
No,
he really
Parker.
wanted the part too, because
No,
he
Parker
Parker
was
was,
worked
so
so hard.
committed. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh my
yes,
God. Yeah.
and like I could never thank him enough. Like what even the hell?
No, he
He
was
was
so
so
committed to that role. It was
committed
crazy. It was crazy,
and he
actually.
killed it. Like he killed it so hard.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, I remember even in
Wow.
the callback, I remember like because I was obviously like I got paired with him a bunch of times and I was like, oh my God, he's
Yeah.
like giving
Yeah. He
and
really
like
was. Like
doing stuff I
he
know because we had like known Parker or I had known Parker. I did my first show at Pitt with him as well. The crazy show where I played a dog.
oh
Mm.
right.
And in
Oh
that show, oh my
yeah.
God, Parker had this crazy thing where he literally just had to sit on stage like crisscross applesauce for like an hour and a half and just stare. Like that was his whole and he had to speak in unison with his other person. That was his whole thing.
Yeah. That's
Um
a bummer.
and
The show
so
was crazy.
yeah. And so but yeah, this was really cool. But obviously through like doing classes and stuff with Parker I'd known. But even like yeah, he surprised me and he continued to surprise me through like the process because he was fully like in like by the time we ended the show, he was in full drag, like learned how to do drag
6 inch
makeup,
heels.
6 inch
Yeah.
heels, a wig,
The
all these crazy
the most
costumes.
yeah, the most like terrible quick changes of your life.
Leg Avenue's best.
Fishnets.
Um,
Um,
but I
yeah.
would say probably the most important thing Becca saw that day was when Nan and I did
Oh,
our reading.
oh. And the room went wild. Like I knew, so I was thinking of Nan for the Jennifer Frittata role. And when I had seen Connie Lingish and Jennifer Frittata, like you two just like your comedic timing with each other was just so crazy. And I guess this was the first time you had ever obviously acted in a scene together. Am I
Mhm.
correct?
This was also the
Yes.
first time we ever really like talked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
we
we
talked during Miss You Like Hell. A little
kind of, but
bit.
like
A
not
little
really. It
bit.
was literally like you were on the back of the stage and I was like on the ground, so we never really talked during filming. And even when we were on Zoom, it was just like, hey.
Yeah. I remember one day we walked down Forbes Avenue and I was like interviewing you a little bit.
You did. I do remember that.
Oh, I get to know you.
But yeah,
Sweet.
so Nan and I knew each other casually, but then we got into this scene and so my character Connie was a lesbian, so she was married, but Carson's mom is like gone the whole play, like not in like an abandoned way, but in like she's on like a business trip or something. And so Nan is you're a new neighbor. Jen was a neighbor in the building.
You're her wife's coworker, but you also move into the
Yes.
apartment next to
Who works
Connie.
on Berserk.
Berserk. That's when she went. Berserk.
I forgot that whole part of the play. Oh my God.
Me too.
No, this is crazy. It's also crazy. Like, I really wish I had a video of the play, because at the time I was like, I've seen this so many times, I will never forget any moment of this. And now I'm like, wait, what the hell did I even look like?
In like 10 years.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
It'd be so funny to watch in 10 years. It would be so funny to watch now. But so so Jen, but like Jennifer Furtada and my character Connie had this like crazy sexual tension the whole show. And when Nan and I got in the room and read the sides,
it was over.
We went right for it.
Like, yeah, the jokes, the physical comedy jokes, like truly Jim Carrey level. I don't know if that's complimentary to you either.
I love Jim Carrey.
Okay, good.
That's one of the highest praise you could give me, possibly.
Especially for physical comedy. Like, it was just, it really, it was
It's
perfect.
also really funny because you guys can't see this on Zoom, but I'm like 6'3", 6'4", and Nan is
I'm literally 5'0".
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing.
And I was wearing like a little 2-inch, like 1-inch, 2-inch kitten heel and had a wig on. Heel. So like, I'm also like, Nan's also like 100 pounds soaking wet.
Nan is so
I'm
teeny.
just like, I'm just at least like twice to 3 times Nan's size. And like, so it was just like I didn't realize it when I was like in like the thing, but when I actually saw pictures of us, I was like, oh, this is actually crazy.
It just made it that much more beautiful.
So many of the intro kids wrote about that.
What?
Like, how about this height difference? How funny that was.
Oh, really? The height difference? Yeah. That's funny.
No, but I forget what exactly we did during the callback, but like we like immediately got like really close to each other and were like touching.
Yeah.
Or we might not have been allowed to touch each other because of like COVID and stuff, but like we were
close.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the side was. Like, was it the one where
I think it was where you first meet. I feel like it, you know, the scene where like we had the thing drop from
that's what
I think that's like what the side was, but before we figured out that moment.
Yeah. No, that was funny.
That was hilarious. We had a stagehand run up a ladder to the tippy top of the theater and drop a little fur ball down for Nan to sexily pick up in front of Quinn.
To bend and snap.
And it was worth it. Every single time. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so then Nan and I get cast in the show along with others.
Yep. Yeah. Etc. Etc. Etka.
Bacon.
Bacon.
And so and then we get into like the rehearsal process. And so where do we even want to start with this rehearsal process?
Oh God. I mean, okay. There's some difficulties with the show in general that I honestly had not thought through enough. There was songs. If Nan was not part of the process, what would we have done?
What the hell would have happened?
I don't know what me and the sound designer would have done. Anyway, the video component.
Oh yeah,
Nan
there's
wasn't
just like
there,
a whole video.
What would we have done? And so like me like begging the department for a projection designer for that part, and then
and there were also just people in the like that was the other crazy thing. There were people who were like in the show who just were never at rehearsals because they like were just in the video.
They were in the video part,
and they didn't have to be at shows either.
Well, that was attractive for a lot of people. Is like,
Oh,
because I know in the Google Doc for the callbacks, I was like, do you want to be in the video part so that you only have to come for like 2 days and you get to be in a show this semester? And a lot of people came up to me and were like, I only want to be in the video part.
Yeah.
So that was like nice for some people, I guess. So they got to be involved, but like didn't really have to do that much, but it was fun. Um, but I guess it was also sad for some people who wanted to actually be in the show. Well, they were, but anyway, guys. Um, so yeah. Heyo.
I also, that
Yeah.
would be another thing of having the recording. I still had no idea what that looked like.
Yeah.
Y'all never saw the video?
Mm-mm.
No.
The only times we were able to is when they were like first positioning it and it was like so horribly like positioned on the like random like sound thing and it wasn't even like a
Dang.
plain white thing. So the picture was
I
so
really should have showed you that. You guys could have asked.
I like saw it being
Not
filmed because I
victim
was there,
blaming.
Come on.
Maybe we should have because we were supposed to be like reacting to it. But
I mean, yeah, you're reacting to the dialogue though. If there was anything
mhm.
wrong, I would have said it. But yeah, okay. Good to know. Good to know a year after you guys ever saw that. Cool. Yeah. And that was also a funny part is like we don't talk enough about how the video, what happens in the video also is so important to understanding the plot. And then the issues with the video, like audio quality and then the projection quality is like was a little bit of a downfall from a director point of view.
Mhm.
Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love to me. But I did try, guys, I tried my best. Um, anyway, but the rehearsal process in general was really fun.
Mhm.
We did not need to be there as much time as we were. I will say some of the days that got a little funky, again with peace and love, were some intimacy coordination days.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's just tough to deal with, especially with like the
mhm.
COVID thing happening. We're wearing masks.
Yeah.
At first, we got the message that we weren't supposed to like even touch each other or be so close to each other. Turns out that was actually a lie.
No, guys, I cannot describe how annoying it was to be like somebody who like did and performed in theater during like a pandemic. Like
Yeah.
it was
Doing,
actually like during the
yeah.
COVID-19 pandemic in specific, because it was actually just like,
It was stupid.
yeah, it was so stupid. Like everybody had to be 6 feet apart, and we had to take these really long breaks. It was much more prohibitive in a show than Nan and I would do in the future. But yeah, it was also really weird for this show because like so much, like a lot of the show was that we were like close to each other.
Yeah.
And then we ended up having to do the show in masks, like a full ass drag show in masks. And like the art of
Yeah.
drag is not one where your mouth is usually covered.
Yeah.
And so
I know.
it was
Yeah.
there was like that was a little tough.
That was a little tough.
But yeah. And then the
For
intimacy
sure.
coordination. If you guys don't know, if you guys are not like theater people,
Yeah.
recently with like the Me Too movement in particular, like it's been a lot. There have been a lot more conversations in professional theatrical communities and kind of like going down from that into like amateur levels about like intimacy on stage and intimacy depiction and how we can like depict intimacy on stage without making anybody feel uncomfortable, which is great.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Amazing. So glad we're having that
discussion.
Sometimes
it's a little teasy. It's a little tedious.
Sometimes yes, it can be very tedious to do.
And it can really feel like too much for some particular moments.
Yes. And for instance.
Yeah.
So I played a mother in the show. And there was one thing where Becca had blocked me to hug my child while they were leaving for school, which I don't know about you guys. But that was like a pretty normal thing that my mother did growing up. Like she would hug me before she left. And I remember I had this like tense moment with our intimacy coordinator. because she was like, and guys, you've heard me on this podcast. Like, I am a philosophical, intellectual kind of person. Like, I can really get into the weeds if I believe
in it.
I just didn't think this was that deep because I was literally just hugging my child before they went to school. But when I told the intimacy coordinator that, they were like, no, that's not enough of a reason to touch somebody. And I was like, what do you mean?
What even do you mean even?
Like, what do you, I don't know. Ugh.
But then once we kind of tapped into the necessity to like have reasons like that, because guys, the three of us were really scared when we had to explain to our intimacy coordinator why we think it would be funny for you guys to spoon on stage.
Oh my God, that was
I forgot we were so nervous about that.
On the ground. We were like, okay, guys, how do we explain this? Like, how do we explain that we need to have you guys spooning on the ground?
Because they're both
I will
so
never forget
fucking
that
horny.
No, exactly.
I'll never
So we
forget
were
that
like,
moment because we're literally like in the front of the house, and you were like, so basically, Nan and Quinn are gonna be lying on the ground, and the front, the Quinn's front is going to be in close proximity to the back of Nan, and goes, oh.
Not
our intimacy coordinator.
Our intimacy coordinator goes, so you mean spooning? And you're like, oh, so like, yeah.
Also, maybe. Oh, you could call it that. But the joke did land. It did work.
Yeah.
And then Quinn did. I just never reined Quinn in when you would put your boob out. Connie's boob out.
My God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That face was right there.
No, guys, that was so no. Okay, so
Quinn's breast in close proximity to Nandita's face.
I had like the whole. No, wasn't I in front of Nan? Or am I remembering that wrong?
No, I was.
No,
like,
Nan was in front of you.
Oh, you crawled in front of me. So this scene was actually crazy. It was such a physical scene, especially when we were in full drag. Oh, and this was another thing that was so funny because I remember when I first did because this scene, I have like a temper tantrum in the scene.
Yeah.
Which required me to like fall. We blocked it so that like I fell to my knees and did like, oh, why? And then I literally proceeded to like put my body back down on the ground and just roll around like like a child and like bang my fist and do all this stuff. And the first time I did it, the intimacy coordinator was there and she was like, oh, do you want knee pads for that? And I was like, oh, that'd actually be kind of nice. Because if you guys remember, the whole time we were doing drag scene, when we would do like intimacy check-ins, I would always tell people not to touch my one knee because I fell really bad. I like slipped when it was raining one time and I really like busted up my knee. And so my knee hurt for like months, like,
oh boy,
after that. And so I was like, oh, that'd actually be really nice so I don't like re-injure my knee or anything. And then like when we were actually in things, I was like, oh, so am I getting knee pads? And they're like, oh yeah, we meant to tell you, we actually don't think that's going to be possible.
Did costume say that or did I say that? I said that.
No, costume said that.
Oh.
No, costume said that after somebody literally suggested it to me. And I was like, what? And that'll contribute to a theme I'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
But anyway, we just ended up, it actually ended up being kind of funny because I had to run and grab a pillow off the chair. Like we had these couches and I had to run and grab a pillow because it was just a camp. Pillow. It was a camp absurdist like show. And so we could really just do whatever we wanted.
It's so true.
And so then that's how it got to Nan. That's how it got to when Nan came over and like started spooning. I eventually added this thing where I was wearing this dress. I was wearing, guys, literally the weirdest looking dress because it was like a dress, but it was slate gray. Like it was like
it was a housewife dress, but like with long sleeves.
Yeah, and it was gray. Like it looked so weird. And I literally it had a zipper on the front. It like zipped all the way up. So I would unzip my like thing and reveal the bra I had on under. And it was so funny because I remember at one point costumes told me to ask Becca because I have hair on my chest. And it was like a little V-neck kind of thing. And so Becca, I remember I had a conversation with Becca being like, so do you want me to shave my chest? And she was like, yes, if you're comfortable with that, basically. And so I was like, okay. And so I basically just shaved like a triangle into like my chest hair. But when I unzipped and like split it open, you could just see the chest hair anyway, which
But
I thought
that
was
was
so funny.
so much funnier.
And it was also really funny because I had makeup on, so I like made it all look the same skin tone. But then, it was like at least 2 shades darker than like my actual skin tone, especially under a place that doesn't see the sun a lot.
Yeah.
And so there were multiple layers of comedy going on at all points during the play.
At all points. Boom, 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 comedy.
But yeah.
We do have to.
Our play led up to that scene.
I was just gonna say we have to talk about how
it wasn't that
our
scene.
Intimacy coordinator said it was that scene that you're tantruming, you guys are spooning, and that basically the first victim of Carson Lingus is another drag child. Drag child is so funny. Sorry. Drag child named Summer Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother, Sornful, is that a word?
Scornful.
There we go.
I was gonna say sorrowful. That's what I meant.
Oh, sorrowful.
Full of sorrowful. Comes into the room while Connie is tantruming and says, "What does she say? Fuck off."
Is this a bad time?
Oh.
What?
Oh my God. She says, "Is this a bad time?" And then Connie says, "Yes." And then Mrs. Breeze goes, "Okay." So that was the pinnacle of the play.
That was, yeah. And I remember she said that to both you and me, because I remember because I was assisting our intimacy coordinator on another job, and like the first time she read the play, she was talking to me about it, and she was like, she mentioned that moment to me specifically then too.
I was like, so that's crazy, because wow. Wow.
Oh
I
my
just
God.
didn't
What
think
happened?
that.
So I remember that was one of the moments where like we almost broke like during an actual show. But I didn't it was more Nan and our friend Julia who played that role, because like what happened that day? Because I would because she would go, "Is this a bad time?" And I would be like on the ground, and I did this thing where I would like put my hands down like dramatically and like rise up and say, "Yeah," like it was like intense.
Yes.
Yeah, and like almost demonic.
The thing that made me break is the fact that like I would look into Julia's eyes and she would just pause every show she paused, like waited even longer to say, "Okay," and then she would leave. And that pause where I was literally making direct eye contact with her and her soul, like I would be biting the inside of my cheek so hard. Like that's the only reason we had masks, because I was fully just like, sometimes I would just like.
There were a couple times I was glad we had masks on, because some of what we were doing was so absurd that like you couldn't. Yeah, you had to laugh.
Well, there was that one dress rehearsal the day before we opened where Quinn and I absolutely lost it. Do you remember that?
Oh, the last dress rehearsal, everyone was absolutely losing it. Like even in the 4 of us in the audience. We laughed at everything so hard. You guys were going extra hard that day also. Like there was extra bits where I was just like, yeah, hilarious.
No, yeah, there was. Yeah, I remember. I forget what it even was, but I do remember there was this one time where we had to stop for like 2 minutes because Nan and I were laughing so hard.
Yeah. And
I remember when we went back down to the dressing rooms, the people that were in there like could only hear what was happening, and they heard us like screaming and like crying, and they didn't think we were laughing. They thought we were like in pain or something because of the way we were like making these noises.
I wouldn't know because I never went down to the dressing room.
Yeah. Oh, that's also something. The callback should have been a warning to Quinn.
Oh my God, yeah.
Quinn, the show was like what, 2.5 hours? Quinn was on stage for 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Literally.
Like I was not allowed to drink water once.
No, yeah.
Oh yeah. That just
or
wasn't
go
a
piss,
thing.
girl. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, I wouldn't have been able to pee anyway. But yeah. So yeah, that wasn't Becca's fault at all. That was just how the play was written.
Yeah.
Because it was just written that my character was in literally every scene for some reason.
Yeah.
And like, so I literally had to be on stage. It was a 2.5 hour long show. I was on stage for such a long time. I was off stage for like 2, which also, we also did run into like this issue where one time my mic wasn't working. like properly.
Oh.
And then one time my mic wasn't working properly. Oh, this was actually two separate instances. So one time my mic wasn't working properly. And like during my my longest break from the show, which was like 5 minutes, I wasn't on stage. I had to, they were like, oh, can we like check your mic, like the cord of your mic? And I was like, so the thing about me is I'm wearing a wig and my mic is under my wig. And so I was like, so do I have to take my whole ass wig off? And they were like, yeah, actually you do. And so I was like, okay, sure. And so then I literally had to take my wig out, which has multiple bobby pins in it because I'm rolling around on a literal floor during the show.
Me literally just standing next to Quinn with my arms open like this collection.
Nan and our friend Sean, who was also in the show, and played like our landlady. They were basically like holding all my shit while I took my wig off. So that was one time. And then another time, and this was luckily the only time this happened, but I hooked my mic onto like my bra. And so one time my mic fell out of my bra. Like it fell off my bra and was just like floating in my back. And like I ran off stage for like 2 minutes and I was like, okay, if I and it was a really short time I was off stage, but I was like, okay, I need somebody to fix this real quick. And it was near the end of the show. And so I run to one of the assistant stage managers who are pretty high ranking. Actually, at this point, I think she's a deck captain. So like pretty high, like they run a whole side of the stage during the show.
Yeah.
I run to her and I say, can you please like reach in my back real quick and hook my mic back in? And she goes, actually, I'm not trained on the mics. Let me go get this other person who is. And I was like, we don't have time for that.
You can't.
Because I was literally going back on stage in like 2 seconds. Like literally I had just enough time for somebody to put my mic back on and that's it. Like I didn't have time for her to go on the other side of the stage and get somebody. Which you think after watching the show for however many times they were at that point, they would know. But you can't expect things out of people, which is also something I learned on the show.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah. And then, luckily only 2 things like that ever went wrong, except for when the lights went out.
And I was not there. I would have.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was crazy.
That seems crazy.
That's one of my that's like the only thing I regret about that show. I was like, I could have made that so much funnier. Because one time I was doing a monologue. So I was the only person on stage. I'm doing a classic phone monologue where I'm talking on the phone to my loving wife. And then what happens? But all the lights in the theater go out.
Boom.
And I think what had happened is the light board op like accidentally turned the entire light board off, or like the light board crashed or something happened. But like the lights were down for a good 2 minutes. And so I was like, what the fuck do I do now? And like it's like during an actual show. So like people are in the audience like paying for tickets to this.
Yeah.
And so I just like kept going with the monologue and just like said it in the dark.
What do you wish you would have done?
I wish I would have said like, oh, Chris, did you forget to pay the light bill? Like I thought it could have been like, I was like, I always think of that as something that could have been funny. And so yeah. But it was after that mic moment where, and we'll talk about another reason why this was in like a second, but I just felt like nobody would help me on that show other than like Becca and like Nan, but like that was pretty much, and like people, like certain people in the cast, but like they also have like jobs to do that are like not helping people, but like the people who were there to help me, like the stagehands, all that kind of stuff, like nobody could help me.
Yeah. Nobody could help me. Oh boy.
I was like, I'm on my fucking own, kid. Like,
yeah. You always knew it. You
always have been.
Yeah. I guess we should talk about the big issue though.
Yeah.
Which was ultimately Ultimately though, it was and me and Quinn love to find the root of issues. The root of this issue was people not understanding a fucking joke.
No, literally.
Y'all can't take the fucking joke.
No,
and it's crazy.
It was crazy because this whole play was just like like it was a joke.
Like it was,
it was so ridiculous. It was so unserious. Like you weren't supposed to take any of it seriously.
Yeah.
However, and like it was good. And that's good for a satire, because I think satires run into an issue because the whole thing was satirical and it was a parody and it was a spoof and it was all these things. But like satire, like Glee, I always think of as like our best like kind of modern form of satire. But Glee kind of failed at being a satire because there were serious moments to it.
It got too serious.
And that's what makes people go back now and be like, so why the fuck were they doing this? And it's like, you can't have it both ways with something satirical. Like something satirical has to like go there.
Yeah.
And I do believe this show did that. Like, I do believe this show like made it enough of a thing where it's like, don't take these people seriously. Like there was nobody in the play who you were supposed to root for. There was nobody who was like a good person.
I found it to be the most goofiest play ever. And so the issue was that some people in the cast, one or two in particular, actually did not read the show before they accepted their role.
Yes. Which
so
you should like just tip for anybody. Just tip for anybody who's ever like doing a play and like anything. You should read the play before you audition and make sure it's something you want to audition for. And then if you get a callback, if you haven't read the play yet, that's a good place to read it. And then if you get offered a role and you still haven't read the play, make sure to read the play at that point.
For sure. For sure.
And make sure it's all stuff you're comfortable with, because then if you get cast, and then if you get cast and you're not comfortable, at least fucking quit.
Yeah. Do us a favor.
It would have been easier if some people just quit.
I tried to fire them also, and then I was not allowed to.
Damn.
So, yeah.
You fired.
You actually got fired from the thing that you were never going to get paid for. So that's hilarious.
You've been terminated.
But yeah, so some people didn't read the play, and then when they did read it, a week after accepting their role, they read it as something to take seriously, which is crazy.
Which, guys, I can't describe to you how, like, what's a good example of something in the play that like would have tipped off any regular person that's not supposed to be taken seriously? Oh, literally, I play a lesbian, and there's this one thing where I literally just say, I like munching carpet. Like that was a line I had to say.
Yeah. And you talk about like when you're talking to your child about how you love like the bedtime story. Oh, you read RuPaul to your child to go to bed.
Yeah.
Ru,
like,
brother,
hello?
Jake and Logan Paul.
Yeah, Ru, the third fall brother.
No,
and
it's
like
such a ridiculous show.
And Carson, also the character Carson is like cursing and like
and he's
riding
11
on the
years
couch.
old.
And he literally kills somebody because they win a drag competition that he wanted to win.
Yeah.
Also, the main character's name is Connie Lingus.
Oh my god, my character's name was Connie Lingus.
Nan's character's name is Jennifer Frittata. I don't even know what that joke is about. Like, I don't even know what is being made right there. But yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
Charles.
Okay.
There was Wendy Breeze. One of the mom of the character who gets killed, Summer Breeze, changes her name to Wendy Breeze.
Changes her name.
Yeah, didn't she change it?
From what? No.
No,
From
she
what?
changed it, remember? Because she was like, I wanted to be like Conolingus.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought, but okay. I got you. That happened. That's before play business.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sexy paramedic who
Fernando.
Oh my god.
who claps. Well, that's not in the show. I was gonna say who claps and makes people disappear, but that's not in the show. That we just made that. There's floating hands, guys. Again.
Oh yeah.
None of that was written. There's floating gay hands.
There's a freaking Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball typing scene. I forgot about that.
Oh my god, yeah. There's a Oh my god. But like everything about this show was so unserious, so much of a joke, but people were not in on the joke.
Yeah, they said that this was like a Republican senator's version of like a gay joke. I don't know. And they also called me straight.
Oh,
Oh my
Which, as we've
God.
established on this podcast, is not true.
It's not true, guys. It's not true. So that was really motherfucking scary. And then yeah, so I tried to fire them because I was like, they don't even know, like, how could they be a part of this now happily? Like, it's obviously.
I don't understand why
But
they wouldn't just
then
quit. Like, I don't understand if there's something you like so. That was the thing I never got about it. Like, if there's just this thing that you so fundamentally disagree with, then why would you want to be a part of it?
no, exactly. Well, I don't think that, yeah, I don't know. I don't know really know what happened on their end. But yeah, so that was annoying to deal with throughout, and we had to take out a lot from the show that mainly this person was unhappy with, and then the department was like, okay, yeah, let's okay, this was also a crazy thing. They're like, you got to make these changes to the script. And I was like, okay, I think I like bargained with like the trying to get the least amount of change possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, so like one thing though is like the the playwright has told me since the beginning he's gonna come see the show. So like you just gotta let him know that these changes are happening, or like I'll whatever. And then I thought that that had been done, that he'd been sent the changes until like a week before we open or something. And I'm like, he's definitely coming, guys, to find out that no one sent him those changes. And so then I had to Zoom call with him for like hours and talk to him about like this and like the changes being made.
Which, guys, the play's unpublished, right?
Yeah, yes.
The play is unpublished. There's like a lot, like there's more leeway with that kind of thing, but like published plays, like it's a big deal to change the like dialogue in
You can't.
like you're not supposed to do that like by any means, except it's
Yeah.
unless it's like Shakespeare and a part of public domain, like
Yeah.
so like any play under 100 years old, which is
Yeah.
most of them, like you
Mhm.
can't change
Exactly.
without like express
So,
consent of like the playwright or their estate.
yeah.
And so
Which I guess we got, but like in a kind of shitty way.
yeah.
Well, it's not published, but anyway. So that was tough.
Yeah, and the thing that annoyed me as like the actor about it was because first of all, I had so many damn fucking lines.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I had to memorize the whole play basically. And there just wasn't even a discussion. Like
Mm-hmm.
like it would obviously like it would get like the department would tell Becca and then Becca would tell us. And then by the time it reached us, there was no like recourse basically.
Yeah.
And so like I remember because I was getting like a little like the first couple edits, and there were certain things that like I was uncomfortable saying. Like my character was supposed to say like the D slur used to like
Mm-hmm.
describe lesbians.
Yeah.
Because my character was a lesbian, but I remember reading that and like I went into the play knowing that was a thing and like knowing like and like at the first read through I communicated I was like literally when we got to the line in the first read through I said I'm not super comfortable saying this, so like what can we do about that?
Mm-hmm. And there's a
And
difference between like switching out one word or like omitting one word than like very, very clear like edits, like
yeah.
rewriting and like fundamental parts of the play. Like there is a point in the play where Connie misgenders their child.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the ultimate downfall of Connie at the end of the play when the last line of the show is it's they mother or whatever, and then Connie's ultimately killed. How much sense would that make if the misgendering never happens?
Literally.
And guys, it's literally a joke.
Yeah.
It's like it's just it. Yeah. So I don't know. It was very difficult to like handle that situation, and yeah, I felt very helpless. And then It made me, it was like gaslighting me. I don't even know.
No,
I
there
felt
was this
gaslighted.
there was this really like, cause there were some times where I know I was being like this process was the most like diva I've ever been, but it was honestly just because I felt like I was being pushed to the brink a lot.
Yeah.
Like I felt
Yeah.
like cornered.
Yeah.
And like there was this one time, like I remember like when we had that conversation, like Becca and I forget what it was exactly, but like Becca and I went and had like a private talk like outside the theater.
Yeah.
And we
Like
like
as
had
friends.
yeah, we had like a whole we're like we literally just said like I think Becca like was like, okay, we're not talking as like director and like actor right now. We're just talking as friends. Like
And I was like, I'm so pissed.
and like we were just like venting to each other for like 10 minutes of rehearsal. And then at the end, Becca was like, can I have a hug?
Yeah. I felt like bad. I don't know. I was very much stuck in the middle, and I'm also being
Mhm.
told like
Yeah,
you are the
you were in a bad position.
yeah, because I'm like being told that I have like the power in the room, use your power in the room, blah 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 blah, whatever. Like, and then they're also like, but you have to do this, and you're the actor that you have issues with now ultimately has more power over you. And I'm like, okay,
Mhm. And it's
cool.
also something that like I don't think if a guest director or a member of the faculty who's like an actual like person who has a career in theater
Yeah.
already, like if they were the director of the show, I don't think it would have been the same kind of situation. And so it felt
Hmm.
like it was a little bit more of like the whole like student direction program was like, oh my God, we're giving you all this freedom. And it's like, it's your show. And like, it's like you're doing the thing, but then it's not actually because we can still tell you to do whatever the fuck we want you to do, which isn't the case, which Nan and I would also learn on the next show we worked on together, was not always the case when you had like a actual like adult who like works in theater
Mhm.
as the director.
I kept thinking about the next show as being Wawab.
Oh no.
Totally forgot about that fucking other one,
No,
which
another student
was
directed play which
fantastic.
had its own challenges with that kind of stuff as
Oh,
well.
well,
I mean, not censorship, but like the power and
Yeah, we worked on a lot of shows together, Quinn. I didn't even realize.
yeah.
I didn't even realize. Whoa, I know you long. Um, and then there's also another huge issue that I was not involved. Well, I was slightly involved
Oh my God, I
in,
forgot
but
about
I was
this
more so
one.
told about it after because I think a lot of it was happening like during actually the show process, which if people in theater don't know, the director is kind of like hands off at that point. Like the show is what it is, and you can go see the show. You're not giving notes to the actors between like performances. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the show is what it is. I like to go see it though and enjoy it when I could. But I was not like as deep in the process as you guys as the actors are,
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
spending a lot of time together and maybe saying and doing well, why don't you guys?
I don't
There
even
was
well, you should like I don't know.
we should set
There was just a
we should
person
set
in
up
our
the issue.
cast. There was this person in our cast who like obviously Becca and I, if you have listened to 20 something episodes of this podcast and you haven't learned that Becca and I are a little jokey.
Yeah.
Um
You don't get it.
yeah, you don't get it. The girls who get it. The girls who don't. And that was literally the
Mhm.
situation. But it was just and I just have a very dry like sense of humor. And then when I'm like um dry referential like that kind of thing, and also
Mhm.
when I don't like somebody or when I don't like enjoy spending time with somebody, I'm not like rude to them, I'm not like anything, but I kind of just like, and I don't know if this is worse in a way, but I kind of just try to interact with them as least as possible.
I feel like that's fine, and that's what
Yeah,
most people do.
like
Like you don't have to like
I'm just
what?
trying to
Yeah.
keep exchanges short. I'm not going on my way to talk to somebody, and that's just
Because
my own way of
I am trying not to bully you.
yeah, I'm trying. Like, if I talk to you too much, I'm gonna start to bully. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
start to
that's
I'm gonna
natural.
start to razz a little bit. And so there's just this one person in our cast who is just like, first of all, like never in on the joke of the show. Like,
Mm-mm.
I just
Mm-mm.
honestly don't think they had the capacity to like get the jokes in the show, really. And so
No, yeah.
it honestly all started when I said, what even? Oh, it was at one point in the rehearsal process, we kept quoting that video that is of that little girl in the closet, and she farts, and she goes, "Oh my God, guys, what was that?
Guys, I'm scared. I don't
Guys,
know.
Guys, I'm
Guys, I'm
scared. I don't even know what
scared.
was that." And then
And I didn't do it.
like one time we were leaving rehearsal, and I literally just said like, "Guys, I'm scared," like out to the room, like as a joke. And this person turns to me and goes, "What are you scared of?"
No, they just go, of what? And I ran.
Guys, I'm scared. Of what?
Of what? And
No,
I
it's
just turn and
crazy.
go, I just turn and deadpan go, "It's a reference."
You wouldn't get it.
Girls who get it,
And they
get it. The girls
didn't.
who don't.
Because the
Yeah.
thing is, it's like we talked about the reference, we played the video at rehearsals, like everyone kind of knew what it was.
Everyone in the room knew what was going on.
Yeah, no,
But that's
something
why,
else
like-
about us is that like if we had a reference, we were just showing each other the video all the time. Like,
Yeah.
Literally.
One thing about us is
You
we'll
guys
say the
see?
same thing over and over again.
oh yeah.
The amount of
yeah.
yeah, no. And it's like, even if you don't get the reference, you've heard us say it enough times, like you should be in on it now. The amount of times we said, "Guys, I'm scared," or "This is a little spook magook," off the charts. Off the charts. It was crazy.
Because the play was based off a horror movie.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. When we were just in like I guess it came from like being in the dressing rooms together. And I had there's like, this is so like dumb and like, but there was like a men's dressing room and there was like a women's dressing room. And so I had like me and Carson, who was like my son or my child.
Whoa.
We had our own dressing rooms because we had like the most to like do kind of and so we had these like private little dressing rooms in between the two dressing rooms. And so I was
There was
friends
like
with,
doors connecting all of them, so you could
yes,
literally
there were
walk from
doors
the
connecting
girls
all of them to
the
each
joint
other.
entrance.
And so
Yeah.
I would just have my door open a lot, and sometimes I would go and hang out in like the girls' dressing room because my friend Julia was over there, Nan was over there, Lucy, who was another girl in the show, was over there. And so we would all just like be in there, shoot the shit, like just like regular stuff.
Yeah.
And then Becca gets approached.
Wait, I think you guys told me about it.
Wait,
No,
what?
no, no. Julia got approached.
Julia got approached. For what reason, actually? 'Cause she was in the play for 15 whole minutes.
No, yeah, that's the thing. I found out about it through you guys
Oh
Yeah,
my
because
God.
my
Because remember,
assistant
the day
director.
the day we found out was the day that Red Taylor's version came out, and we were on our way to Julia's house to listen to it,
Oh my
And we
God.
were held back a little bit.
Yeah.
to go drink our wine because Julia got pulled aside, and Quinn and I specifically were told to keep going. As Julia, Quinn, and I were in the
Oh.
theater together.
Oh my
And
God, I
Quinn
don't
and
remember that
kept
part.
going, and we waited outside or in the lobby, and then Julia met up with us and filled us in, and we were like, huh?
The way Julia immediately told you. Why wouldn't she though? Like, what is the logic behind that?
Like, also, the thing about all this is even more confusing considering like the three of us, like, we're like best friends going into the process basically, and at that point, like, we were so close.
Oh yeah, 'cause we
Yeah.
spent every day together.
Like,
Yeah.
Wait, so what, we haven't established what actually so Nan,
True.
what was the assistant
We've
director
Yeah.
told? What had
Nan.
the assistant what did the
Oh.
assistant director tell Julia?
So basically, I don't know if I wish I remembered word for word what happened, but basically, there was a little talk of a bullying scandal
Mhm.
that was brought to
Yeah.
Miss Julia's attention. And the reason that Quinn and I were not allowed to listen in on that talk was because apparently Quinn and I were the bulliers.
Or the assailants?
Yeah.
The perpetrators, if you
We were the
will.
perpetrators.
Mhm.
So y'all were bullying basically this other person.
Adults.
And how did
Apparently, yeah. Yeah.
and
I, an
And
adult,
there
was
is a
bullying another
theory.
adult.
There is a theory. Basically, the theory that the naysayers have come up with was that y'all were bullying because you were like leaving this person out. Is that the like assumption?
I guess.
I
Or like
guess.
we don't really know where this came
This
from.
is why in life, I'm a very like, I'm not quick to lose my temper, but if I have to say something, I'll say something. Like, and if
Okay.
we got beef, let's eat. That's my mantra. Like, if you have a
Yeah.
problem, just say it. And say it directly to the people you have an issue with. Obviously, there's like exceptions to that rule, but if it's something as like petty and stupid as like, oh, these people aren't talking to me in the dressing room of our college play we're doing together. Like, girl, you
Yeah.
can
Also,
say that to me if you like, if you feel excluded, you can like speak up for yourself a little bit. Like, it's
Also, we're
not,
in
Yeah.
college and being like word for word accused of bullying someone. Like, do we like push them against the fucking locker and try to take their lunch money? No, we literally were just sitting doing like Quinn was doing 10 pounds of makeup every night. I was just sitting looking at myself in the mirror because that was my nightly routine. Every show, I would just stare at myself in the mirror for so long and
Mhm.
do my like 2 coats of eyeshadow. I don't know how to do makeup.
And your affirmations.
And our bullying scandal, that was it. Like, I don't really know. Like,
Lucy would be
we
watching
watched,
TikTok.
we would watch the SNL sketch, the Bad High School Theater.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, I think it was just that like, and maybe we were exclusive in the way that like,
You guys have inside jokes, but like that
yes, we had
doesn't
inside jokes that like, again, this person was in the room for it. Like, if they really wanted to, they could have like
they
learned.
could have cracked the code.
They could have cracked the code. Like, it's not even hard, but I just don't even think they could like intellectually play with us in that way, which, you know.
That's the thing. I guess
Okay.
we all like really were like on the same, like we all connected. Our brains were just
Yeah.
like so like well
Yeah, we had
versed.
similar senses of humor. We all found like similar things funny. And so like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But I remember being, because we had gone through the whole process and now we were in shows. And then this like bullshit comes out and I'm just like, oh my God.
yeah.
I was so
Last
mad.
straw.
We got a lot of quotes on the quote list that night from me.
Oh yeah. And also this is the second weekend of shows because didn't it come out November 11th?
No, I think this was the first weekend of shows.
When did Red
No, or was it? Wait, or was it the second weekend of shows? No, it might have been
Because-
in. No, it was the Thursday. Yeah, no, it was between the two weekends because it
Mhm.
would have been the Thursday
Yeah.
because the album
Oh.
came out on a Friday
Yes.
and we all went back to Julia's house to listen to it, and that's where Julia told us about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy.
Damn. That was
Terrible.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Whew. Whew.
So now it's just a joke in our friend group that Nan and I are bullies.
yeah, my 13th scandal. Every
And
new one.
Nan has
Not
a
again.
lot of bullying scandals before.
Yeah.
It
Famously.
feels like that we learned through this process.
Guys, I miss you guys so much because
Also,
we used to
yeah.
we would have rehearsal for 4 hours and then we would still go to each other's houses and talk for like fucking 5 more hours.
Not even each other's
Until-
houses. The street
the corner.
Yeah, on the street. On the street.
The
yeah,
corner of
either
Oakland
way.
and Bates.
Yep.
Standless entrance.
Until basically I would have like 30 minutes until I had to be awake for work the next morning. Living on the edge.
No, it was honestly such a fun process. And like, for as annoying as it was really just fun that we got to like basically just like goof off with each other for like a month and a half.
It was really
Yeah,
just
it's true.
playtime.
And we have to say, like, we really did create such a funny show. Quinn
Mhm.
got dropped on our anonymous Pit Connections Instagram where people look for love as like
I
an
swear
exhibit
to
performer.
God, I did not write that.
No,
Okay.
and then Quinn got recognized in Bootleggers later, like that month for yes, we were in Boots for the fake wedding and
Yeah.
drama. And a girl was like, "Were you in Drag Seed?" And you were like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "So actually, I directed Drag Seed. You can avert your attention to me."
I have no memory
And
of that,
then-
but Nan also loves to tell
Oh.
the story of
What?
I love. See, one thing about me is being recognized from the drag scene is one of my favorite things in the world. To this day,
Really?
I was
to
at
this day.
the Theater Club's production of The Addams Family late October, and someone was like, "This was the girl that did the typing in the drag scene," and they were like, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "Thank you." But there was this one occasion, I believe it was in like November, a month or two after drag scene closed. We were at the Musical Theater Club Cabaret. I don't know if we were waiting for it to start or it just ended or something, but this girl like comes up to me. I don't know what she said even. I don't know if she was like Quinn and I were standing right next to each other, and she looks at me and goes, "Were you in the drag scene?"
Oh my
And I was like,
God.
"Oh my gosh, yes."
That's so funny.
No, but it was funny because some people wouldn't recognize me.
Well,
Yeah, because
even
you were
my
in so
roommate
much
who knew
makeup.
you well, Quinn, didn't even know you were Connie until like halfway through the show.
Yeah, because I had just like pounds of makeup on my face.
Makeup, wig, everything. Yeah. And then also the playwright did come see the play and loved
Oh
it
my God.
and
And
loved Nan's music so much that he paid her to play it in La Mama in New
yeah,
York.
Which is crazy, honestly.
that was a
Which is
fun time.
crazy.
Forgot about that.
Nan being
Exactly.
famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I got to add that to my resume and I'm doing something like that again. And except instead of La Mama, it's at the Biome.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Yeah, Nan's, it's crazy how talented Nan is.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a little upsetting.
She be getting all these opportunities, but it's because she is so talented.
it's because of the drag scene. Ultimately, I owe everything in my life back to Emma.
You're
As
welcome.
you should.
Thank
I
you.
can't, I'm
Thank
looking
you.
so hard to try to find this Pit Misconnections that was wrote about me. Because it was
Oh,
honestly,
don't worry. I have it on hand.
oh really? Because this was actually nice because for our next season of shows, I like was auditioning and I was really nervous because it was like my last season. I really wanted this one part. And so I was like so nervous all day about auditions. And so like I remember reading this like the day of my audition and it gave me like the biggest wind in my sail.
Aw. And it says, to Quinn Murphy in the drag seed, I just wanted to tell you you were absolutely phenomenal and I loved every moment you were on stage. I couldn't stop thinking about how you were born to perform. So glad I got to see you rock. And I think because it does have the word rock, so we did suspect Nan.
Yeah.
I would believe that Austin wrote it.
Oh.
It's very
But like I
I
don't
don't
know why
believe that
anybody who
though.
like knows me or like at least semi knows me like wouldn't come up to me and just say, "Hey."
fair enough.
Should I text him right now and ask?
Maybe.
No.
If you think you got it like that.
I don't have his number. Never mind.
Okay. Probably better for everyone.
But there was like a time where I
yeah.
was like, did I write this? I truly was being gaslit into thinking that I
So I
wrote it.
believe that.
And I was like, I
It was
did
just
coin
too
the
much
term
of a
rock on.
coincidence. Yeah.
Okay.
Except I swear I said it before you, but anyway.
I'm not touching
I
that with a 10-foot
I
pole.
swear on thanks to her, I said rock on once. Man.
My home screen.
I know. I just don't live and breathe it like you do.
You stole her whole fucking flow, Nan. But yeah. Well, to end this whole little segment off,
Yeah.
let's go round robin real quick and just share maybe like our favorite memory from the whole production
Aw.
process.
Yeah.
Becker, what was yours?
Oh my God, starting with me. I got nervous. I have to say, I guess just seeing, I think it was the last dress rehearsal. Like that was when I was like, oh, like I had so much relief. Everything was so funny. And it was working like pretty much what I wanted to see. Also, the set it was so fun. Like I really liked the set
When it
and the
wasn't
stuff we did.
breaking.
Oh yeah, that's like a whole nother thing. Like
Oh
the
my
show
God,
probably
'cause our
caused the technical director to get fired because he like almost killed a lot of people on our show, but that's fine. Because the
Wait, was
walls were
that
breaking.
why? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that
I
was
don't think it's a
dangerous.
coincidence.
Oh
He
no,
was
yeah.
fired like weeks after
No,
we
during the run.
I forgot.
During the run of our show, our tech director at our theater department like mysteriously like has to leave the job, and we later found out that he was
Rest in
fired.
peace.
Like it's basically
Yeah.
confirmed that he was fired. Fly high angel. And but
There
and
was
he
a
had
day.
literally started working there that semester.
Yeah, there was a day I had him that semester for like what, stagecraft? I was in the shop with him for like 7 hours on my own. That was probably one of the most scared moments I've ever been for my life. Because he was like, "Oh yeah, so you don't want to do this," and he shows me he has like a whole cut down his finger of when he like messed up, and I'm like, so I don't want to see things like that from you, the person who's trying to teach me to be safe around saws.
Oh my
I don't want to
God.
see all the injuries you have. So yeah, that was
Stagecraft.
terrifying. Yeah, terrible, horrible. I hated it.
Uh, yeah, Nandita.
I think, well, this show was like one of the main shows that like this was like a huge confidence boost for me because like prior to this show, I was like, I'm never getting cast in anything. Like I'm an ensemble person. Like I felt like no one saw like I was like, okay, wait, I feel like I'm good at this stuff, but I felt like no one else saw that. And I was like, oh wait, pause, people are laughing. And like I think like literally just the typing thing, like when I was like jokingly pitched that and like everyone was like,
Oh,
oh my God, so good. And I was like, what?
and it killed every night.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like it was just like the little stuff. Like I was like, oh wait, this is kind of fun that like I felt like good at what I was doing for one of the first times. And then like the whole music stuff and that kind of like was like the start of that, at least from a confidence. Everything was like a big confidence, like it kind of like laid the whatever the heck that saying is.
Foundation. It
Foundation
catapulted
for
you
my
into
yeah.
stardom.
And just like all the little like jokes like from the little boundary track checks every night. Um the random like that one time like Quinn would say, "Oh, don't touch my right knee," or that one day that I walked to rehearsal crying on that Sunday when I was like, "Okay, my boundaries are my left knee, my right shin, and my rib cage," after the famous incident.
You got hit by a car.
Yeah, Nan got hit by a car on the way to rehearsal. Sorry,
It
Nan.
was awesome
Oh
though.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, and just getting to become better friends with you guys was
Uh,
Oh
yeah, you're right. Okay, Quinn, I guess what was your favorite moment?
my God. Um, uh, honestly, what was my favorite moment?
Bitch, she died.
That
Oh
was
yeah.
that was honestly so funny because I didn't know that was gonna happen, and that's one of the like I remember when I watched that. So my character dies at the end of the show, and
Yeah. And on the
it
I think it was the last
Becca
dress rehearsal, we added the
Becca
sound bite.
Bitch She Die, which was said by Candy Muse at the roast of Ross Matthews on season 13 of RuPaul's Drag Race. And I remember when I was
Mhm.
watching that with my friends, and like when Candy Muse said, "Bitch, she died," like I remember laughing so hard the first time I saw it. And so when I'm laying in the bed, like when I'm laying in the bed, like and it plays and I'm not expecting it, I was like, I was like, I'm not supposed to laugh right now.
We were
Yeah.
audibly laughing backstage, ready to like come on for bows. Like we screamed.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, kind of bows were like my favorite part every night because bows we could just be like goofy and it was like a time.
Mhm.
Like I remember we would just do all like this funny stuff during bows because like Applause by Lady Gaga was playing and we would like
Mhm.
dance
Mhm.
off. Like one time I started doing the WAP choreography
Yeah.
like in full drag.
I have a video of that.
Yeah. And so yeah, but that was fun. And honestly, just like goofing, getting to be better friends with like because it did bring me closer to a lot of people. And
Mhm.
yeah. Um Yeah. And it was kind of nice. It was kind of nice because it taught me a lesson because I feel like as like in like theater, like especially as performers, you're always like there's just this thing where like you always want to be like the role that has like all the lines and everything and like and like this show was like probably the most I'll ever be like that in my life unless I do like a in the future if I ever do like a 3 hour like one person like thing. But like
Right.
this is like the pinnacle of like I had the most to do, I had the most lines,
Mhm.
I had like all this stuff, and it was still like, and it was honestly like, oh, this is actually really fucking hard,
Mhm.
and like this is so much
Yeah.
effort to do, and so it kind of dispelled that a little bit for me, which is kind of
Mhm.
like the main thing I kind of learned from the show, or not the
Yeah.
main thing, but one of the many things I learned from the show,
Mhm.
and so yeah, it was a
Yeah.
crazy ride we all went
Well,
on.
I know. I'm ultimately very proud of the product
Oh,
and everything that I
1000%.
feel like I really think that I learned so much. And it makes me miss theater so much and like comedy and doing everything like and you guys. What the
Why am I
hell?
sad now?
I know, guys, I'm sad. I have like longing in my heart. Poor me. Okay.
All right. Well, I think we said all we need to say about the show.
Mhm.
And now we're gonna take a little break, but then we'll be right back for our segments.
Guys, I'm scared.
Connie Lingus. All right.
You rang.
You're right. Heard. Okay. So it's time for our weekly segments. Ba-doop-ba-doop-ba. And we don't have any comment corners because, guys, what the hell?
Got scared.
Please, guys, I'm scared. This is a little spook magook. You must comment on our Instagram. You must comment on our TikTok. You must comment on our YouTube. You must email into manicpixiejumpscares@gmail.com. We will never stop telling you
compulsory.
this. We will never stop, never stopping.
No.
Okay. So, so yeah, it's time for our jump scares then. This is anything that Quinn, Nan, and I found terrible, terrifying, supercalifragilisticexpialidociously bad.
Mhm.
So, Nan, as our special guest / intruder, did you want to start off with what you found scary this
Yeah.
week? Okay.
So one thing about me is I am working 2 jobs. I'm a senior in college. I'm in a play. It's a very physically demanding play. It's a lot of movement, a lot of bruises. I'm so exhausted. I don't really have time to live my life. And I can't even go out because I have to like stay COVID safe because I'm the only one that doesn't have an understudy. So if I'm out, the show's done. And one thing about me is I'm also in finance, also known as finance. And I did put that off because I hate finance and I don't care about it. And that has bitten me in the behind. So I had a finance exam and I just literally kept pushing everything off for months and months and months and months. And then, it was test day. And like the day before, maybe even the day of, I was like, okay, give me a little review. So I got caught up, a little 10-minute review session of the basic stuff. I was like, okay, I feel a little okay. I went into the test. I didn't know a single
Oh.
question. And like I know sometimes people are like, oh my God, I guessed on every single one, but like they didn't. When I tell you I guessed on all 27 questions, I guessed on all
A
27 questions.
test with only 27 questions. It seems so
Yeah, but it was
small,
like
but like also complex.
it was like hard. Like finance shit
Okay.
makes sense to me. Like it's like hard. And
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't know anything. And I was just like playing a game. I was like, okay, let me like act like I'm doing work. And I was like doodling on the test like paper to make myself look like I was working harder. And then I would rewrite the question just for fun. And then I turned it in and I was like, you know what? I don't care. And for some reason, a part of me is hopeful that I did get a good grade, even though I guessed on all of them. But that was indeed my jump scare. But now I'm done with finance.
Was it like
forever.
multiple choice that you could guess on all of them?
Yes, but like all
Oh.
like math calculation stuff based.
Oh, dang.
Dividends.
Girl.
Dang.
I don't know.
As someone who once had to take a game theory class, I'm empathizing
I
with your
love game
struggle.
theory.
I repressed my game theory class because
What the hell
honestly,
even
I was
was
in the
that?
I was in the damn trenches.
I truly love game theory. Learning about that for some reason.
Anyway.
Okay, well, shouts out. So that does seem really scary. Even though Quinn and I are no longer in school, I certainly can
And
put myself
honestly,
in these
Nan,
shoes.
thank you for sharing that because that just really affirmed my decision to not be in school anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was feeling a little, I was missing out. I no
I was
longer
feeling
have
nostalgic,
FOMO
but you just
for
killed that
tests.
actually.
Yeah.
Good job. But yeah, so then Quinn, what was scaring you this week?
Oh my God. I had a whole journey yesterday actually getting into the Airbnb that I'm sitting in right now. So
Mm.
I was only gonna be here for 2 days, so I was like, oh, let me find a little Airbnb. And it was actually a time where booking late kind of helped me because I ended up finding this Airbnb literally the night before I left Lake Como. That was only $24 a night. And Airbnb is like anything else, actually not like anything else, but it's like Uber Eats or like Ticketmaster or anything. And there are fees. And so when you see like $24 a night, you can add like a bunch of money to that basically because like there are always a bunch of fees with Airbnbs. So anyway,
Mhm.
but still, like even my grand total was for like 2 nights, it was gonna be less than $100, which like for private accommodation is like pretty good. And it's like a sizable apartment, like, you know. Anyway, it sleeps 4 apparently though, and there's only 1 bed, so I don't know how that works actually, but anyway.
Okay.
So one thing that was weird that I noticed about a bunch of Airbnbs in this area is that check-in wasn't until 5. And as somebody who has stayed in, I believe it's 26 different accommodations in the past 2 months. Let me get a fact check. Yeah, yes, this is my 27th accommodation in the past like 2 months. Usually check-in times are at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. So not being until 5 was really weird. And so I'd already booked my train ticket, which was my mistake. And so I was getting into Annecy at like 11 o'clock. And so I was like, okay, so that's not ideal. But most times when something like that's happened, usually you can either store your luggage somewhere, or like if you tell your host, they can like help you check in early and stuff like that. And so I reached out to my host in like my initial message, and I was like, hey, I'm getting in at this time. If there could be like, if there's a luggage storage, or if I could like maybe check in early, I would love that. And so they don't respond to that message. So then like 24 hours later, I send the same message being like, hey, is there anywhere I can like, can I check in early, or can I store my luggage? And the host only speaks French. So like our conversations are translated on Airbnb. And so that might kind of be where it is, but they're like, oh no, early check-in probably won't be possible because there is somebody staying in the Airbnb the night before you. And so, but like if any check-in time is earlier than 5, we'll like let you know. And so I was like, okay. And then I asked, like when I asked yesterday morning, I was like, is there anywhere to like store my luggage then? And I did not get an answer for the whole day.
Perfect.
And so I'm literally here in Annecy, and I have my 2 bags with me all day. And so luckily, I'm traveling kind of late. And so nothing too bad. I went to this little park that like overlooks the lake and the Alps, and it was beautiful. And I had a bench to myself. So I just like put my bags on the bench and like sat there for like an hour and a half and watched the world go by. And then I found like a little cafe and stuff. But I couldn't find anywhere to go to the bathroom because I tried to go to the bathroom on one of the trains, and the toilet was like out of order, and there wasn't a bathroom in the train station, and there wasn't a bathroom in the cafe I was at. And so it gets to 5 o'clock when I check in. So like no early check-in. I didn't hear anything from them for the rest of the day, basically. And so at this point, I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom really bad, and I'm tired of carrying my bags around. And they said they would send me the code at 4:50. And so it gets like 4:55, and I'm just like, okay. And so I messaged them and being like, hi, can I have the code? And they were like, yeah, sure. And then they sent another message being like, and just so you know, our housekeeper wasn't actually able to come because she had issues with her car. So the apartment won't be clean when you get there.
Oh,
Delicious.
So I'm like, what the fuck do I even do at this point? So I just decided to walk there because I like, again, I have to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, at least I know I can go to the bathroom here. I can even shit here. Or I can't even wipe my ass here. I believe that's the joke.
Shitters. Yeah.
And so I walk in, I like check myself in, and I open the door. There are like, and it's like clearly somebody has just slept in here the night before. And so like the bed's not made, and like there are towels hanging up, and it was like a really like disconcerting thing at first. And then I like fully like texted them, and I was like, I like texted them, and I was like, because at that point I was like, okay, and this is me, y'all. I will be slightly inconvenienced if it means I can get a little bit of a refund. So I was like, do I care enough to like actually book like a whole other accommodation? Because at that point, I was like, I can get a refund for the cleaning fee, and that's only like $50 I'm spending to spend 2 nights here, which is like really good for private accommodation. And so I texted them back being like, okay, I don't feel like staying somewhere else, but I will need you to fully refund the cleaning fee I paid for. And they were like, okay, yeah, totally. And so Yeah. And then I also don't know how to lock the apartment up. So I just like I have keys and I don't know if the door was ever truly locked. It felt like I unlocked it when I first came, but I'm not sure if I actually did.
Oh boy.
And so I fully like
Okay.
slept with like the front door unlocked last night.
Oh God. It's a little scary.
And I was just hoping nothing bad happened.
Uh-oh.
Nothing nefarious.
Yeah.
Well, glad to see you okay right now.
Mm-hmm. And Becca, what was your manic pixie moment this week?
Oh, so my jump scare.
Or fuck, what was your jump scare?
or fuck.
What was your jump
Okay.
scare this week?
Okay, so one thing about me, I hate wasting time. Sometimes I'm a pretty patient person, but I really sometimes my issue with Virgos is they move too slow. But that's totally unrelated. Anyway, I wasted like 4 hours this week watching this fucking Netflix show with my mother called The Inside Man. And listen, usually I love Daniel Cucci. Okay, he's like such a
Daniel
good actor.
Cucci.
I love him. And so I was like, okay, like he plays this whatever prisoner. Every episode was like the same thing. It could have easily been like 45 minutes long, this whole series, and it was like 4 hours of episodes. And it made me so mad. The amount of times they were like, a different character was like, hey, he killed his wife. He knocked her head off. You think he's a good person? Like the amount of jokes that was it was crazy the amount of times that was said differently by everyone in the show.
Was it like a joke?
Basically,
was it a joke or was it like serious?
It was serious, but like it's the character trying to make a joke, you know?
Okay.
Because like Daniel
Cucci.
Daniel Cucci, he had killed his wife, knocked her head off, decapitated her, and then like that's why he's in jail. But he used to be a criminologist, so he's like, I will solve other murders actually while I'm in here. So he does that. Guys, don't fucking watch it. It was so dumb. It was so dumb. It actually pissed
Not
me
Becca
off
Hobart
physically.
approved.
Yeah, no.
Daniel
It's just
Cucci is one of those things. So sorry, ma'am. Keep going.
No. You should go.
Thank you so much. I was just gonna say Daniel Cucci is one of those things that Becca does that I'll be thinking about for the rest of my life.
Thank
Like,
you.
You remember
It's
that
very
one phase
adjacent.
during the summer where there was like a week during thanks to her filming where Becca would blink, I would be rolling on the floor laughing.
No, I really had Nan in my little hand for like a good amount of time there. I was like, yeah.
I would laugh so hard at
my
anything she
finger.
did, and I still do to this day.
Oh,
Becca's
thank
one of the
you.
funniest
Thank you so
people
much.
ever. If
Oh
you
my
don't know from
God.
watching
Thanks,
the
guys.
podcast.
Historically, yeah.
If you haven't figured it out by now. It's very Daniel Cucci and Tiffany Hotshell Ray are like the ultimate duo of people. Tiffany Hotshell Ray is Timothy Chalamet. It's inspired by the fact that Macy cannot remember that Timothy's name is not Tiffany. She always calls him Tiffany, like fully
Tiffany
just like
Chalamet.
thinks that his name is Tiffany Chalamet. So
Oh,
Tiffany
What's his
God,
Hotshell
sister's
Ray,
name?
Gertrude. And I know that for certain.
Timothy Chalamet's sister, who's in Sex Lives of College Girls. Her name is Gertrude.
Gertrude Chalamet.
His sister?
You're fucking with me. Yeah,
No,
Nan, have you
her
ever
neen
seen that show, Sex Lives of College Girls?
I haven't seen it.
It's
I know,
pretty
but I
good.
didn't know his
She's
sister
one
was
of the
in it.
girls.
I was trying to Google Sex Lives of College Girls and I just Googled Sex of Lives. Oh God.
That's gonna get you some crazy results.
That's crazy. Nah, her name's it's kind of close. Her name's Pauline.
I wanted to say Maureen.
Okay.
Where'd you get Gertrude from?
Sometimes we have to guess. I'm on the Quinn train now.
New season
Yeah, I
of
was
that
just gonna
show.
say.
I saw an ad for that show today because I was watching HBO and I was like, I'm so excited for that.
I really do like it.
I need to watch it.
Okay. Well, now that we're all scared and yeah, we now have to be happy ultimately. So we move on to the manic pixie moments. This is anything slay, Gaga boots the house down, pussy purr, pop. So, Nan, as our intruder, why don't you go first?
I think my
Whoa, intruder. She's the only non-white person on the call, Becca. Wow.
What about you, Quinn?
Wow. Oh,
Quinn, you're Italian.
You're Italian X.
Italian.
Quinn, why would you say that?
Yeah.
You know, Nan, what scared you?
Yeah. So
No,
once again,
what made you
did get it wrong.
happy?
Oh, fuck. Oh my God.
It's like we don't do this every week.
It's like we didn't do this 2 hours ago.
Mere moments ago, yeah.
So
Okay.
basically, my MPM, as I like to call it, was
Ooh,
that.
nice.
Thank you. My good friend Dance Nation at the University of Pittsburgh did have its opening weekend this past week, and it was awesome. Opening night was crazy. We had people were sitting up in the balcony, like it was a packed night. We had like 180 people were there. It was awesome. It went super well. Today's my off day. Tomorrow's my off day, and then Wednesday to Sunday shows again, and then it's over. And then
Oh my gosh.
auditions
Do
for
it
next
all
semester.
again.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
That's
Aw.
so exciting.
Can
I
you
really
guys
do
believe
miss
that I'm
Nandita.
graduating?
No. What are you gonna do after that? Do you know?
Who knows?
Okay, cool.
That's such a pointed question to ask, Becca.
I know. Sorry. I've been hurt by that
I'm gonna-
before. I had to pass it on. It's the cycle of trauma. That's how it
Now,
works.
what if
Yeah,
I
man.
worked at Ulta? Would you let me work there, Becca?
You could come on down.
I could I
For
could
sure.
clean things.
The thing about you working at Ulta is you don't seem to know anything about makeup.
To this day, I
What?
don't know what bronzer does.
Oh, you're talking to Nan. I think you're talking
Yeah.
to me. Whoa. What?
As opposed to Becca, who knows the most about makeup, perhaps of anyone I
Ever.
know.
I've been learning.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that's cool. All right. Well, I'm so glad your show's going well. Thanks, Nan.
Mhm.
You can leave the call now.
Becca, thanks for listening.
All right. Quinn, what was your manic pixie moment of the week?
My main pixie moment honestly just happened like an hour before this. So I was hungry and I wanted to have dinner. But I'm in like a small town on the off season, and it's kind of hard being in like a small town, especially in Europe, on like the off tourism season or in like a shoulder season, because sometimes things just aren't open.
Mhm.
And sometimes you feel like a little bit of an asshole going in and like asking for like a table for one. Anyway, so I just didn't like feel like the whole restaurant vibe tonight. And so I was like, what can I do? So there was a little supermarket like near my Airbnb. So I went over there and I bought an assortment of meats, some Dutch Gouda that I didn't realize was Dutch until I got home. And then I was like, oh, yes. As well as some sun-dried tomatoes, a baguette, and some wine. And I literally just had that for dinner.
Slay, that's so European of you.
That's nice.
No, literally, I just had a little like, I was cutting up the baguette. I was taking different pieces of meat, pairing it with the cheese and the sun-dried tomatoes. And that was just my meal. And it was like beautiful because I wasn't like, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Like I wasn't like one of those people.
Yeah, never.
But I just need a little something because otherwise I was gonna get hungry. And now I think I'm just gonna do the same thing for breakfast tomorrow because I have stuff left over. And then
Perfect.
because I did complain, I don't know if was it during like was it during last week's episode where I said like the most expensive thing a person can do is order Uber Eats?
Yeah, that was last catch up. Yes.
Yeah, so I ordered Uber Eats last night and I was like, this is so expensive. I can never do this again. And then I was like, I went to the market and it ended up like for all that stuff, it ended up being about the same price. And then I was like, oh, okay. But it was nice because both those times I've spent a lot of money on food, I've like made it like into 2 meals.
Oh.
And so
Perfect.
now
That
it's
is the
basically
ultimate
like
way to eat.
half the price. And so
Yeah.
anyway. I'm
Do
just
you
winning
guys-
at life.
What's the quote? And I always get it wrong and no one ever knows what I'm talking about, but he's like, and here I am at the most expensive spot in the restaurant, enjoying my meal.
Oh, me and my friend Corey say this to each other literally every day. I'm at the most expensive restaurant in DC almost. Enjoying my meal.
Enjoying my meal.
Rolling Ray says that. Me and Corey
Okay.
quote that constantly.
Thank God, Quinn.
We always say
Thank
I'm at the most
God.
expensive restaurant in Pittsburgh almost. I'm at the most expensive restaurant in Istanbul almost.
Most.
Like
Okay, so
where
I'm at the
yeah.
most expensive restaurant blank, almost enjoying my meal.
I think it's almost is what he said. Rolling Ray is famously kind of a hard person to understand sometimes, but I think he says almost.
Yeah. Enjoy my meal.
As in like,
Yeah.
and that's his way of saying I'm at one of the most expensive restaurants in DC, but like
Yeah.
That's
enjoying
Wow.
my meal.
I say it all the time and no one ever knows what I'm talking about, but of course you do.
And
So
that's why we
thank
host a
you.
podcast together, Becca.
Yeah, ultimately.
And that leads me into asking Becca, what was your manic pixie moment this week?
There we go.
Look how slayed that.
my good job. You should do this professionally. Wait, whoa.
I should.
My manic pixie moment of the week is is yet to come, and that is on Friday. I am on my way back to Pittsburgh. I have the weekend off. Yeah. And so I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna go to Tequila Cowboy. I'm gonna not do karaoke anymore because it's too traumatic at this point.
Oh my God.
Getting booed off the stage last time was too much.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, but I will try and get some free gin and tonics. Don't you dare worry.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited for what it holds this time.
Oh my God, that's
Praying,
so
hoping,
fun.
and praying. I run into the waiter.
Fuel waiter.
In any type of way.
I see him all the time now.
I see him everywhere. The only thing we share is this small town.
A fool, a puddle, even.
Okay, perfect.
Wait, so are you going to see
allegedly...
Dance Nash?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to because the only time I would have available is Saturday like afternoon.
It is only 87 minutes long.
Okay.
Which does in fact leave you with the rest of the night.
Okay. I could talk to Macy. I'm not sure. But I'll talk.
He's gonna be like, I'm not seeing that gay shit.
Macy's extremely homophobic, so yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, Macy. No. I can't.
Macy's an ally.
Macy's such an ally.
Macy gave me like an
kisses me all the
8.5 when we
time.
made out one time, so
Exactly.
she can't be homophobic.
I've kissed Macy.
What?
I kissed Macy right through that wall.
Wait, what?
In the apartment.
Party.
Oh, we were playing Spin the Bottle at the pity party.
Oh,
at one of the many times we played Spin the Bottle.
My God.
Only thing I would ask is you played Spin the Bottle.
I love that game too much.
No, Becca. If Becca and I are at a party, we're playing Spin the Bottle.
Playing Spin the Bottle. Like I'm gonna force people to play Spin the Bottle. It's my most talented talent. Yeah.
And I've
in like a non.
From you.
Yeah, it's perfect. Okay.
Wait,
so now comes to the best part.
Yeah, we get to do something very special now.
We're about to say the same. Okay.
Do you want to do the honors? Yeah, you do the honors.
Sure. Okay, so Nan, as a guest / I'm not even gonna say it because of the accusations. As our guest, you get to do the honors of adding one thing to the stand list. Yeah. So you better know what it is as soon as you do, and you're gonna have to tell us.
Okay, got it. Or I don't know if it's already on there.
So Nan, tell us what you would like to add to the stand list if you have come to a realization.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to add a song. I feel like that's only fitting for me to do that.
It's true.
The song may or may not have something to do with apparel that you do indeed wear on your feet. Oh, wait, Quinn, I knew exactly what you thought I was going to say.
I was like, I might have to reject. If you were going to add something I thought you were about to add.
Did you think I was going to add the
I want to be a slave, I want to be your master.
Oh, I thought you were going to add.
The second your face did that, I knew that's what you thought. But no, my stand list entry is indeed Sneaker Night by Miss B. Hudge. Baby
Oh my God, man, that is not on the...
snake is on. Get your
Put the
sneakers
sneakers
on.
on.
Nan, oh my God. That's
the way to
perfect.
be,
Yeah.
way to be.
So
That is-
are you ready? Did you eat?
Awesome. That was it.
Did you eat?
Closing up,
Awesome.
turn
Oh my
around,
God,
go
how do we
home
not
now.
already have that on? Nan,
That's why I was like a little bit like,
Good
wait.
job.
Thank you.
amazing
Wow.
job.
Good job.
Wow. Art, we need to have
excited.
more guests because they're really killing it with adding things to the stand list.
Yeah, you're right. This is
But yeah. And with that, that's the end of our little show today. So Nan, thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us, especially on your day off.
Thank you guys for having me. This is the best day
Taking
of my
time
life.
away
Yeah,
from your
thank
life.
you, Nan.
So Nan, where can the people keep up with you if they like what they've heard today, or know which account to block if they didn't like what they heard?
So the second one, I did not hear that. And it isn't if they liked what I said or whatever. It's when they indeed, like for sure, as a fact, confirmed, did like what I have to say. So basically, if you understood what I just said just now, you should go to my Instagram at @OneNanBand, and in that bio, you will find my personal Instagram. You can also find me on Spotify. You can find me on SoundCloud. You can find me on LinkedIn. Please add me on LinkedIn. Nandita space Mahesh. I would say LinkedIn for first and foremost.
Another LinkedIn connection from a podcast
Yeah,
recording.
I'm nearing 1,000 connections, guys. I need to get there.
That's crazy.
1,000? Oh my God. You're one of those people.
I'm a business person, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot.
Becca, do you have a LinkedIn?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, now that you got your fashion business certification, you have to make a LinkedIn.
I know.
Wait, that's weird you said that. Wait, why'd you say that?
Because you fully shared that.
No, I know. But the reason I made a LinkedIn in the first place was because I was in the fashion business club at Pitt
No way.
for my first year. And that's why I have a LinkedIn. So I never connected that, I could do that.
Do you know the University of Delaware, my state's university, has like randomly one of the best like fashion business like
University. Okay. Do they really?
they have like one of the best like fashion business programs in the country.
I should have gone
That's
there.
kind of slay.
No, you
What
shouldn't
the
have.
Okay.
No, I love
you
you, D guys. But anyway, Becca, where can
Yeah.
people Becca, what's your certificate? Like, is it like Becca DDS, Becca PhD, Becca MBA, Becca Hobart MBA? Where can people follow you if they are so inclined?
Becca GIS. Guys, I'm scared.
Guys, I'm scared.
Becca, guess I'm scared. Becca S.
GIS, I'm not the one you think.
No.
Gastrointestinal situation?
No, GIS is something else. It's like GIS is something else. This is going off the rails.
SM. Store manager. SM. Spook Magook. Okay.
Page manager.
Bacon.
BBB.
Geographic Information System, GIS. A geographic information
Perfect.
system is a type of database containing geographic data combined with
That's what
software tools for managing, analyzing, and visualizing those data.
Perfect. So my name is Becca. You can follow me on Instagram at Becca Hobart. Twitter, Spotify, Bex Gloss. Then also on TikTok, where I'll go into in World War III. You can also find me. Guys, I'm scared. I don't know what was that, and I didn't do that. Guys, I'm scared. Okay. And then Quinn, where can the people keep up with you individually?
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Quinn P. Murphy. You can also follow me on Twitter at Quinn P. Murphy _. And you can find me in Paris, baby. The next couple
Slay.
days.
Nan
Wow.
has entered a basketball emoji to the reactions, so that's good. And wait, if you want to follow the podcast,
Oh fuck! Oh my god! Oh my god!
you can follow.
Guys.
No, it's crazy.
Becca,
it's
where
crazy.
can people follow the podcast if they are so inclined?
Yeah, you can follow them. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at Manic Pixie Jump Scare, TikTok Manic Pixie Jump Scare, and also on YouTube, same at. We do post the podcast at length, and you'd be able to see all 3 of our beautiful faces today. Extra face, slay. And then please email in at manicpixiejumpscare@gmail.com. We love fan-written letters. You can also comment on the YouTube or TikTok. We see those more frequently. The Instagram comments, sure. Yeah. Do that too. Now that I mention it. But yeah, we love you all so much. And
we're
Quinn.
And
we're
Becca. And thank
you for listening.
I was standing by the water's edge.
Oh, that should be the outro music.
Manic Pixie Jump Scare is hosted by Quinn Murphy
and Becca Hobart. Executive produced by Quinn Murphy and Becca Hobart.
Sound and video editing by Quinn Murphy.
Social media management and highlights by Becca Hobart.
And our theme song was written by Quinn Murphy, Becca Hobart, and Nandita Mahesh.